There it goes. Watch me mute ourselves again. That'll make it even better. Listen, okay, we have to start with some technical issues.
Yes.
Because we are in Mexico.
Yes.
Which is amazing. Hi, this is Sarah Jazz. Hi, how are you?
Silence noise.
Have you ever met me before? Oh my god, thank you guys so much, first of all, for those hosts and for those subs.
Thank you, Warrior, for the sub for how many freaking months?
I think it's at 14.
14 months.
The way we're running this today...
And also this gift sub to...
Yes, and a gift sub to EBX Aaron as well. Thank you guys so much for all the hosts. It makes a ton of difference and helps us get more exposure to our guest for this week, who is the incredible EBX Aaron. She's been, like... I love when we have people on who are like rising stars. And she's like a rising star on Twitch Music. We'll be talking about that. And obviously, as someone I know, she has an interesting history too, because she has a band. And so I was going to find out.
She's a real musician.
Yeah, unlike me. She's a real musician, unlike the silence noise. Oh my god. Thank you so much for those biddies. Thank you guys so much for all the love. We appreciate you. As you can see, Sarah and I are reunited, and we're doing this show in the weirdest way.
It's a green screen. I can't really touch you.
True.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
Any truers in chat?
What are you talking about? Anyway.
Sorry, I'm in streamer mode.
Yeah, I'm a streamer. I'm pro. Okay.
I'm pro. We started muted. Very pro.
That is pro. Okay, yeah. I understand. But yes, F. Yes, I agree. That's what streamer mode is. Oh my god, thank you guys so much. There are so many hosts
and so many
that are happening and so many follows right now. I imagine, yes, no abuse. I agree. So we're running this in a very convoluted way, which is actually fun because I didn't really trust our internet here in Mexico. I wasn't really sure that we were going to be able to have Aaron get in and then us host a stream and have everything be well. So this is our first stream actually running it remote. I'm actually running this from home. So I am remoted into my home computer to be able to make this work, and everyone is remoted there. And so I know we're going to have at least one issue when Aaron comes on later that we'll fix. But I'm actually excited about that, and I'm excited that it seems to be going okay.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that this works even.
Yeah, of course it does.
It's insane. Like, you're logged into your computer at home from this computer.
Yes.
And her and us are going into your computer. I'm like,
yes. It's like, and then there's the routing, and then there's the thing.
When it's like, did you ever have like the dream where you?
Did you ever have a dream when you? And thanks to all of you who are new to the show. A lot of you who are here today are probably new to the show. So this is Music Exposed.
Hi.
What we do is we basically want to get out the word about new and rising musicians here on Twitch Music. We focus primarily on original musicians, but we've talked to musicians of all different types. This is actually our 38th episode. And I forgot to mention, I didn't even put this in the stream title, today is our 1-year anniversary of Music Exposed. This is the 1-year anniversary.
Happy birthday.
Of music. Happy birthday to you! Cha-cha-cha! Happy birthday to Music Exposed! Happy birthday, Music Exposed!
You think you
Oh, no, okay. I don't...
Neighbors?
Yes. Okay, listen. I'm just saying. Our neighbors were literally like hammering on the walls at 4 a.m. So if they're...
Not only hammering the walls,
We're not talking about that. This is not what this show is about.
I'm
Okay.
just saying, there's a lot of noises in this is Mexico City. There's like a lot of things going on, a lot of noises.
Yes.
Like
I didn't set a new word either. Whatever. I'm just leaving as you shut up, you bitch. Which is no. You know what? I'm changing it. Okay, hold the show. Okay, go into stream.
Subscribe with Twitch Prime. It's free. Do you know that?
That's great for our 1-year anniversary.
Do you have Twitch Prime? Well, Twitch Prime is when you connect your Amazon Prime with Twitch and you have a free sub. If you didn't know that, well, now you know, and you can use that sub on the silence,
Viva Mexico,
which is free for you, and he gets money.
Oh, well, thank you for that. I really
Crisscross, please.
Thank you for the Prime Gaming sub. Thank you very much. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate the love and support. But we haven't done one in a while. We have some compilations for those of you who are new to Music Exposed to watch some of our worst and best moments here on the show. And for me, what I was thinking when we started this show a year ago, and I remember us having the original conversations a year ago, was that one of the issues that I have with Twitch Music is while raids are good and while partnerships are good and collabs are good and all those things are happening, one of the things that's lacking that I find, and people are trying to build it as well, is like what happens in the independent music scene. Because how you find out about new artists in the independent music scene, as I'm sure Aaron will be able to attest when we do the show, is that you find out from other artists.
Yes.
So you go to a show and the opening act for that band is either somebody you don't know or someone that became friends with the artist, or it's somebody that you're trying to get out there. And so I kept saying it's a different thing to be able to host artists on our first it was on your channel and now on my channel, to be able to get the word out and be like, okay, I'm not just going to take my 10% of my audience over to you. I want everybody who watches this channel or comes and watches the replay to find out about this. And I cannot believe how amazing of a year that we've had with this show. It's been insane, the types of guests that we've had. And we actually...
all types of guests even.
So many different types of musicians. Yeah, and it's so amazing. I think that we've had so many amazing moments. I have to say one of my favorite moments of the year probably still is Save for Rosemary, hashtag Save for Rosemary. The Music Exposed crew actually bought Rosemary Teal a hot water heater, a boiler for her house because she had no hot water for months.
So she showered in cold water, which is
the most horrible story. It's still the saddest story.
I can feel for her though, because I used to do the same thing in college.
Yeah, so we've had that. We had stories about musicians having to get paid with guns. I was just going to say that. That's your moment.
Who had to threaten a venue with a gun, otherwise he wouldn't pay the gig or something.
Exactly, we had that. We've had people that were homeless and busking on the show. Homeless.
We had people who struggled a lot with drugs.
Yes.
So real stuff, which I love, by the way.
You know what, Code Warrior? If I'm not going to give this to you, you don't have to do this permanently, but I'm going to give this to Code Warrior because unfortunately, I can't really do shout outs and stuff. Thank you, Code Warrior, for that. Oh, that didn't work. What the hell?
Oh, you did?
It did. It just doesn't show correctly there.
Oh, okay.
So since none of our other mods are here today, Code Warrior, thank you for that.
No, Mom Jazz is here, though.
Oh, she is? Yeah, okay, I didn't see that. Yeah. Never mind.
Thank you,
but Warrior can have it for now. I don't like to give mod to people. I know this is a weird thing, because I don't want them to feel obligated to have to hang out. Yeah. I know that's the weirdest thing, but it's like, I don't want people to be like, oh my God, silence is on, I have to be there. So I always want people who do it to want to do it. Is that a weird thing? Is that weird that I'm like that? That I'm like, yeah, I just don't want people to feel like they have a job.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, work for me, bitches. it's like work for me, bitches. But I need to choose.
Oh yes, that's totally. I understand that. No, I just feel bad because I don't want anyone to feel like obligated, like they have to be there or they have to do anything.
Yeah.
Unless they want to. Like when people are like, oh, I would love to mod or whatever. Like Northbound Matt today, I saw this in the chat earlier, and thanks so much, Northbound Matt, probably doing whatever he does on a Saturday. Thank you, Code Warrior. I appreciate that. And you don't, like I said, you don't have to do that on the regular. I just feel bad because I don't like people to do it unless they want to do it. And Code Warrior is already such a huge supporter of this channel, but we've had, like I said, this year, this is such a strong start to this year too, that we have, one of the things I like about this year that's different than when we started the show last year. So when we launched the show and we first put out word of what we were doing, we literally filled the calendar for 5 months. Yeah. It was like, boom. We said, hey, who wants to be on a music interview show? 5 months of people and partners and all sorts of people that we were just like, who would want to be on this?
To bigger streamers, yeah.
And so we did that. And this year, coming into this year, we've intentionally tried to leave it a little bit more open. We still have a lot of people we really want to be on the show. A lot of our favorite streamers have still not been on the show yet. But the calendar is more open coming into the year, which is fun. And we can focus on, I think the focus has changed a little bit. Because one of our hopes was, I know when we were starting, was we were very specific about the calendar. Yeah. We were specific about the idea of we would want to have a larger streamer, and then we would want to make sure the week after that we had a smaller streamer.
Yeah.
Because the hope was...
smaller streamer gets more eyes on them.
That was the hope. Yeah. Was like, oh, okay, when we have Fantastic Plastics on, the next week we'll have 4 After Ever. Yeah. And not many people know who 4 After Ever is. And that was the hope of how it would work. And we've discovered a lot of things in doing this show.
Yeah.
The first one being that's not how it works at all.
First,
Yeah, it doesn't work that way at
second
all.
of all, it doesn't work on my channel. That's why we moved it to your channel.
That is not necessarily true.
I mean, yeah, because your channel is a music channel, and my channel is a.
I mean, I guess you could call my channel a music channel. But,
Yeah, I don't know what my channel is. My channel is memes and.
It isn't
terrible
just
jokes.
that. You're so mean to yourself.
Memes and terrible jokes.
My channel's memes and silly things too.
Your channel is music and memes. That's different. Music is first.
I
Yeah.
suppose.
So that's why we.
Oh my god, you're so mean. But we that was the hope. And I know that was one of the things that was the hardest to learn about this year, and it's been kind of difficult about the journey of because silence works more for the show.
That's very true.
Although Sarah it's been really helpful because Sarah's been doing a lot more since we moved over to my channel. Because like the stuff that
Yes.
Yeah, you've been doing a little
I'm
more
like,
work.
what? I've been doing work? What?
Yes, but I love that.
Yes, I have.
Yes, she has actually. She has always done work for the show. But that was the hope. Like that was exactly the hope was that and what we found and I think you and I both love like telling the truth about everything. We're always just like upfront about here's what actually happened is outside of a few regulars, which don't get me wrong, every person that watches this is a valuable person. So it's not
really?
like shut up. See, I can do this in person. Shut your face. Every person that watches is amazing, and we appreciate that. But the hope was like, oh my god, oh my god, that is true. What? You don't like my bobs? My bobs are.
Your bobs are fantastic. I love them.
I don't. That's really rude.
Yeah.
I have good bobs.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can show them as much.
Oh no! Stop ruining my shirt. She's like ripped this shirt. She ripped my shirt today. You ripped the collar on my shirt.
I did.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. She ripped a giant hole in my shirt today.
That was me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna buy you a new shirt in Mexico.
You can't buy this. I have to get a new. I can't replace this. I have to buy it from Family Crest. It's
Yeah,
Family
you can
Crest
buy it from Family.
By the way, the Family Crest, amazing band. If you need to listen to them. But anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking. No, it did work. It did work on your channel. That isn't necessarily true. It was just like you said. You wanted to be able to focus more on variety. It wasn't that it didn't work. It was just like, all right. The hope was that if we have more people that are into music that want to watch a music channel, that hopefully they would stick around and then they'd realize very quickly that I'm a crazy person and that they shouldn't be sticking around. But that's fine. It's the same. I mean, the same thing was happening for you. The difference was they would just be coming into something weirder.
With you, they come into music. With me, they come into me sitting in a toilet. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So like they hang around on your channel a little bit longer probably because they're like, oh, this is music, and on my channel they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Which regulars say the same thing when they come into the stream all the time. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
You know, and so
I mean, that happens on my stream too, though. You know, so that's the thing. But one thing that was always the hope, and so the hope was when we were
this is so chaotic, and I'm here for it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
When we were in the first year of the show, that was kind of the hope, and we were putting the whole show around that, like banking on, all right, big guest, smaller guest, medium guest. We're like booking
big
that.
guest meet.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Who has the biggest meat?
What's your meat number, guys?
Yeah. Anyway, literally with the sitting in the toilet. It's true. But that's another reason why we made the change, was that we decided, like, okay, there's a couple of values we want to focus on more as we come into the new year. And we definitely want to focus as much as we can on original music, or people that we know are doing original music. We still want to have streamers of all shapes and sizes and giant meat or whatever they have. But we definitely want to focus more into the new year on people who do original stuff, because that was the reason I was originally passionate about doing this, because I feel like, at least for me, when I first started on Twitch 2 years ago, there were like 10 people that were only doing original music.
And now there's way more.
There is way more.
And they don't get as much exposure because they're original, and they don't. I mean, some choose to still do covers, but some also do it because they have to. It's more popular, it gets you more money, and that's a reality. That's a reality in real life as a musician too. On the stage, I talked about this, I think, last episode or 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
How like cover artists or cover bands make way more money than original bands.
You came over from Mixer? Hey, I was on Mixer too, so...
Me too.
That's where Taco came from.
Yeah, Taco.
Oh my god, I normally don't play the memes on this show, but I totally feel like if we're going to talk about Mixer, we have to oh my god.
Mixer, Mexico.
Oh my god. Where did my mouse go? Holy crap, here we go. Fine.
There we go. Yes. That's amazing.
Me gusta. Yes, anyway.
Studio audio off? No.
No, I think we're okay. Followed a lot of the music. Yeah, and that for me, yes, tacos. That's what you get here. New memes, same as the old memes. Meet the new meme, same as the old meme.
I actually wanted to talk about music here in Mexico.
Mexico.
Música
de Mexico.
No, but it's very interesting because yesterday and 2 days ago, actually, we were we were watching TV, and we not only watched telenovelas, which is normal, but we also watched like music and
like TV.
Like TV.
Not only did we watch TV, we watched TV.
We were watching TV, and then there was TV. There were people on the screen.
That's crazy. Are you sure they weren't just little bits in the back of the tube?
No, I actually, as a kid, I didn't believe that people lived in the TV.
Yes.
I legit believe that, like, because in this time, we still had CRTs, or are they called CRTs? The like big one, yes.
The two TVs, yeah.
I legit thought that to be an actor.
Thank you, Caveman. I'm definitely your thirst trap.
To be an actor, you would have to be hired by like a higher TV person, and then you stand in front of the TV, and it like shrinks you and sucks you into the TV, and everybody that is on TV lives in the huge CRT back.
That's true.
That's what I always thought as a kid, that how like actors, so I always was like, oh, I don't know if I want to be an actress or famous, because then I have to live
in the TV. That's right. That's also, if for anybody who has never read Uncle Shelby's ABZs, that's also a joke in that book, which is an amazing book for people who haven't read it. I have that at home. I should bring that out on stream or your stream, because it's the best children's book of all time.
Oh, yeah.
We had fun. Oh, I almost said that out loud, and I'm like, I can't say that. I'm like, we were having fun with an amazing and very cute little girl at the gelato stand today who was talking about lavadoras with us. So in Mexico, before we talk about music,
Mexico City,
we have to talk about there's this truck that follows Sarah around, and it is okay. So for anybody who's never been to Mexico City, as we said, Mexico City is very loud and it's very chaotic, and there's a lot of chaotic energy even in the nicer neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So for some reason, there's this form of advertising which just involves someone strapping a loudspeaker or a bullhorn on a car,
which is common in Portugal too, and
driving around just playing this very loud announcement. Yeah. And apparently the announcement that tortures Sarah is an announcement for some sort of appliance store or electronics store.
Lavadora!
Because it literally it just yells in monotone.
Yeah.
Like the best part is that it's in total monotone. Like there is no divergence in the voice. She's just talking like this the whole time.
And the thing is, I was here in Mexico City back in November, and I was here for 2 weeks alone. And I'm not kidding you guys, every morning at like 7 a.m., not kidding, at 7 a.m., this fucking car in front of my apartment, at 7 a.m., every single I don't even know what she said. The only word I know is lavadoras. I'm like, okay, that's probably an appliance store or something. And it's just so annoying. And now that we're back here,
it's following her around.
It's not. We can't hear it here in the morning, but when we're taking walks and stuff, we hear it somewhere in the back, and then it comes, and I'm like,
I just see her face. I'll look at her, and she'll be like,
already like, oh my god! And the first time, like yesterday, I think it was the first time that you
Here, well, because
I was like,
very
oh my God,
noisy.
so annoying.
Oh my God, Sunfire, thank you so much for that raid. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Great. Guys, if you don't know Sun, she's an amazing, amazing drummer.
I'm
and super, super awesome. And go follow her Instagram and Twitter too, by the way.
Oh my God, the volume. Yes,
volume.
I can. Well,
Are we very loud? Oh yeah, we're clipping all the time.
That's fine. I don't mind.
We're constantly clipping.
We can clip all we want. Okay, fine. I'll turn it down. Fine. Why should I do that? I don't know.
Costa Rica!
So anyway, so we go out today to get some Mexican Coke. For those of you who've never had Mexican Coke, it is made with cane sugar. I don't like targeted ads. It is made with cane sugar instead of corn syrup.
Not sponsored by
It is amazing. So we are sponsored by Mexican Coke. Mexican Coke, please sponsor us.
She's now a beach girl.
It's true.
Oh, were you at the beach today?
Ooh, a la playa, Sunfire a la playa.
I'm such a weirdo. I can't even.
What? What's weird about that? That's not normal.
So.
That's not. That's las mujeres de la playa. Mujeres de la playa. Anyway, but.
What is that accent?
It's kind of like Sean Connery mixed. It's the Mexican Sean Connery. Oh, mujeres de la playa. Mujeres de la playa. Vamos a la playa. Anyway,
Vamos a la playa. Oh.
So we're at the gelato shop, and the truck goes by. It's literally on the block with the gelato shop, and you hear it. And so the whole time that we're there, this dad and his daughter come walking up, and she's like putting on a show for us because the gelato stand. What's best about it is there's a step. There's a step to go up into the gelato stand, so it's like she's on a little stage. And so she's like dancing to the music for us, and we're kind of laughing at her because she's looking right at us and dancing like she's putting on a show.
Thank you, Warrior.
Warrior, thank you so much for that gift of Sunfire. We appreciate it so much. So we see her dancing, and then we're talking as time goes on, and then that truck comes by, and Sarah's eating gelato, and she's like, starts her tensing up thing. And so a couple seconds go by as that happens, and she's like, oh, look, this place has sundaes. And I'm like, and so we have a little conversation, and I'm like, sundaes, frozen yogurt, lavadora. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Code Warrior, for that gift to Thomas Frank, to Potato, and thank you guys.
Thank you.
9 months for Potato Frank. We have a baby now.
Oh, baby.
Oh, mujeres de la
What
playa.
are we gonna call the baby? Lavanderia.
Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Las potatoes.
Potadora.
Potatoes. Thank you so much, Pedro, for that follow.
Papa.
Oh, papa.
Papas.
Papita. Papita.
Papa.
Yes. Anyway, but so we're sitting.
Like half an hour.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a good story. So I start yelling this: helados, sundaes, frozen yogurt, lavadores. And the little girl that's now sitting over next to us starts yelling the words from that thing, and everybody at the gelato place cracks up.
Yeah, she's like, lavadora, gelateria.
So awesome.
Yeah.
So everyone has been traumatized by this.
Yeah.
Shouting
the little girl that lives and grew up here
Yes.
in Mexico City.
Yeah. So I just say, su amigos every time they go by. It's like your friends are here.
Mm.
Oh my God, nice, Neil Venom. Congratulations on your first vaccine.
we want it. Ooh, first vaccine, awesome.
Yes.
Lavadoras,
vaccinados, no sé.
Vaccinadas.
Yes, sí. Yes, bueno. Yes. I do speak Spanish, it's just terrible. I have been so out of practice. I used to be fully fluent in Spanish, so I can understand most of it. Although I have found that trying to understand, so we went to a really awesome restaurant that's actually right next to our place.
Every place here.
Every place we've been is awesome,
Like
but the place next door, we went last night, and it's like a more upscale kind of place.
El Terrible.
Yes, El Terrible. No, I need a lot of practice because
Yeah.
it's been like 10 years since I've done it. En el coche sentarse por el río. Anyway, en el coche sentarse por el río.
Lo quiero, Taco Bell.
Yes, that's no. That Nevermuse was in Spanish class with me. I don't know if he took all 4 years. He knows exactly what I said. Yes. But what I have found, no, I know way more than that. But what I have found is trying to understand a waiter who's wearing a face mask plus the shield, the plastic shield, talking very quickly in Spanish at a place that's
With
very loud, super loud
music.
music. I'm like, I can understand nothing. And so I ended up with a milkshake by accident because I didn't.
Malteado. It would make sense because there's in America there's also the malt shakes.
Malts.
Malt shakes.
They're not called malt shakes. They're just called malts, not malt
malts.
shakes.
Yeah, malteado is the same.
Yes, I know, but we were trying to figure things out, and I pointed at a picture, and he didn't understand what it is. Just keep saying "sí." Yes, you'll just end up with whatever. Sí. Gracias.
Sí.
Yeah. Anyway, that's how it works. But anyway, speaking to Mexican music.
Yes.
So you said that you grew up hanging out in Latin clubs, so you've listened to a lot of this stuff.
But the Latin clubs I hung out were like people from Domrep more than
From Domrep? What the hell is Dominican Republic?
Yeah, from Domrep more than from Mexico or something. And the mariachi, I was very surprised because we were watching TV.
Cállate, Thomas Frank.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Me llamo
biblioteca? Me llamo Tibón. ¿Tienes cervezas? 3 cervezas. Por favor. Y cigarrillos.
But you drank that drink, tamarinda? No, tamarinda.
So good. If you've never had it, so it's called a beer cocktail. If you've never had it, I forget what the Spanish word is for it.
But it's only in Mexico City, right?
Yeah, you can get it in some touristy places, but basically, here's what it is. It's a beer cocktail. So what it is it's margarita, and you either put Corona or Dos Equis in it, and then the rim is lined with tamarindo, which is like a sweet chili powder. So it's amazing. So
I posted a picture on my Instagram.
I'm an Instagram. I'm an influencer. Oh my god! Can you check out my Instagram? You can look at my tamarindo beer margarita. Yes. We couldn't talk about it. What is happening to you? What is happening to your accents? Your accent is becoming very strange.
Yesterday it was so difficult for me because
you couldn't.
You couldn't talk.
Oh, no couldn't hablas. Couldn't hablo. ¿Qué es this?
No couldn't hablar. So yesterday I was trying to talk to him, and because we're like switching between Spanish and English a lot, I at some point just start talking Portuguese,
and
I'm surprised that he doesn't understand me.
Yes, I'm just like I don't know. I don't know what you're. I just there's a lot of times where I just kind of like zone out because for me to understand, I have to pay attention. Like I have to be very closely.
Attention, so.
That is not true.
I'm kidding.
I couldn't pay attention. I couldn't. I couldn't pay attention. Sorry.
You couldn't.
I couldn't pone atención. Yes. This is quality first hour, as it always is. If you were to pay attention to Music Exposed over the first year, this is generally what the first hour is like. This is
Music Exposed. This is where we talk about music.
Yes, this is true. We are always talking about that. So anyway,
you're all mixed up. It's very true. Like I start talking and then I start talking in Spanish to him.
Portuguese. We can call it Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yes. I'm Spanish, and I feel like I'm learning so much. Yes. I appreciate that.
Yo hablo en español contigo y después también en...
Español es muy feo.
También en portugués y es muy complicado para ti también.
Sí. Yo entiendo.
Un poquito.
No es complicado.
No?
Portuñol. Portuñol. Yes, see, that's
portuñol.
true.
That's basically what I speak. I speak portuñol.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually understand a lot. I think you'd be surprised, Potato. I actually understand. I used to be fully fluent. 10 years ago, I was fully fluent. I just am not. I haven't practiced.
You need practice.
No, but when I do practice, I know. I mean, I'm even telling you vocabulary that I remember and stuff. So yeah.
Tienes de practicar.
Yeah.
Mm. So
Good.
Mexican music.
Pork of geese in Spanish are quite similar. That's true.
That's very true.
What would goose pork be? My goose pork brings all the boys to the yard.
Mexican music. So mariachi, apparently. Mariachi is like the yeah, like oh, mi amor. So basically, this is the type of music that Mexicans like to listen to, and it's their folk music.
Everyone likes the mariachi.
So mariachi is very like folk music. And
kind of.
Yesterday, I was watching the music videos, and there's like tatted up, like super like yo from the hood people.
Yo from the hood, those people.
And I'm like,
couldn't identify them.
Couldn't identify, and then couldn't identify. And I'm like, why are they doing mariachi? Like, you can't see like a tatted person or like a more hood-looking person doing fado, for example, which is the Portuguese, folk music.
I think you need to create it. Where's Gangsta Fado?
The Gangsta Fado. And then you were explaining to me that's normal.
Common. Yeah, that's normal.
Like, what? It's not hip-hop or reggaeton that they listen to?
Both.
They listen to both? They listen to mariachi. That's interesting.
Listen to both.
That's so interesting to me.
Well, no, I think it's because a lot of, at least in my experience, and I can't. Apology to all of the Mexican population who's coming. Listen, I've done okay, guys. I worked with the Latino population in the United States for 12 years. I've done a lot of work for for those people. This was my experience, at least for people from Jalisco. I don't know if this is true of everywhere, but I feel like a lot of people are raised listening to the mariachi music, so you're hearing it a lot. Your parents listen to it, or your grandparents listen to it, and so you kind of grow up. But there's subdivisions of it. There isn't just. It's not all the same song. Like, yes, 99% of it is like, it is like country music. I lost my truck. I lost my woman. I lost my horse. I lost my.
But that's normally what your parents and your grandparents listen to, and you as the kids are like, oh, that's uncool. Like, I will rather listen to Daddy Yankee or something.
Well, yes, they listen to both. That's the thing I'm saying. Like, you go to Tejano. Yeah, I lost my tacos. No, but that's what I'm saying is there are couldn't eat my tacos. Couldn't eat my tacos. Yes, I lost my tacos. That's true. I'm just saying. You need to hear our sad satanic panda. Thank you so much for that follow. I love that name.
I couldn't find my tacos.
Why did that become I couldn't find my tacos?
My tacos.
Taco.
My tacos.
Yes.
Pero tú dices que me gusta más.
Sí. Eres tú. Eres tú.
You like. Oh my god, I can't. You like.
Me gusta.
Oh no! You like tortas más que mucho más. More.
EBX Erin is our guest today, and I feel very bad for her.
You can't put English.
Yes.
You like tortas.
Me gusta tortas más de tacos. Correcto. Sí. I don't.
I get like mixed up. This is the problem. I grew up with 3 languages. I have 2 native languages, which is Portuguese.
When do you speak? Okay, I have a question.
German.
I want to ask about that.
What?
When do you mix up? When are you Portugerman or Portugerman? When does that happen? Do you have times where you speak German and Portuguese? Because I love the idea of Portuguese and German at the same time. Yeah. I feel like those 2 languages do not go together like Portuguese and Spanish. Like, those fit. Portuguese and German, you've got to be like, when you break into the German, people have to be like, what the hell?
No, I'm leaving.
Yes, bye.
No, actually, it's, I sometimes also, what is really weird for me is sometimes I'll get an accent. Like, I'll talk Portuguese, and then I'll continue and say, Cuban.
I like this. She's answered this before, but I know the answer. What language is your inner voice?
Oh, I think in the language that I talk in.
Yes.
So if you talk to me in Spanish, I will think in Spanish. If you talk to me in Portuguese, I will think in Portuguese. So sometimes for me, it's really difficult to translate or to go from one to the other and then back, because my brain needs to switch.
Yes.
And that's also why sometimes I am stuck with an accent, like you didn't.
Yes. Or she'll just continue talking to me in Spanish when I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm tired, let's go back to English, and she just keeps talking in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because for me, like I said, it's back at that point where I need to really focus in to understand, especially here in Mexico, because it's like everyone talks so fast.
Yeah.
Más rápido. So it's like I have to really be dialed in to understand. I mean, I can, it just takes me a little while, but yeah, there are different genres. That's the thing. It's actually there are different genres of mariachi music that are listened to by different people.
Yeah,
and so
that's
there's
because like country music, I feel like people who are like from the city and are like considered cool don't listen to country music.
well, but I would actually
America.
say that's changed though, because there's like if you're talking about bluegrass or you're talking about old like Hank Williams or whatever country,
I love bluegrass and Hank Williams.
mostly older people listen to that, but nowadays modern country is mostly pop. So it's like there are plenty of young
it's like
people that
Taylor
listen.
Swift type of stuff. But,
Yeah.
but it's still what Taylor Swift is actually a country singer.
Yeah, started
Originally.
Beady beady bom bom.
But but like country is something that people don't like. Especially the youth.
Like for
and
me,
the youth
the youth don't like it.
The youth don't
Yes.
like it.
How dare you?
In Portugal,
I like how she's holding on to me really tight. She's like, in Portugal. In Portugal.
Portugal young people do not listen to
The youth do not listen to fado.
Does not listen to fado.
Do you feel like they'll start listening to fado when they get older? Is it something they'll start to understand and they'll be like, okay, now I like fado, or is fado going to die?
No, I don't think fado is going to die. I think like once you get acquainted with fado in a certain way, you will start liking it.
Okay.
Like I have a lot of young
like
people.
when fado slides up next to you in a bar and it's like, hey,
Yeah.
baby,
Hey, baby.
I'm soy fado.
So fado. But like for example, I feel like a lot of people when I do fado, when
Does it
I
do the
perform
top thing?
fado,
That you just did, does it do that?
yeah, I'm like I'm gonna
Soy fado.
perform fado today. Whoa! And
Yes.
but yeah, so why are we are spaz today? You told me I was spaz, but you're spaz too. This is what is this?
I'm fluent in redneck,
Hillbilly
Cajun. I can speak some English
I
and
can't
Spanish.
understand Cajun.
Cajun.
Yeah.
No understand Cajun. Yes, all that Mexican coke.
It's the Mexican
It's gone.
coke.
Mine is gone.
You-
It's sad. No, I don't think it. I have a giant water too. Look at all this agua fresca. Oh.
All right, welcome to Music Exposed, the show where we talk about music.
Yeah, we're talking about music. This
Oh,
is a
yeah.
conversation about
Oh, yeah.
music. We're talking
So,
about mariachi.
but fado is not something that especially like the ghetto people. The ghetto people in Portugal listen to they listen to I by the way I lived a long time in the ghetto.
In the ghetto.
But we listen to like hip hop, reggaeton, and stuff like that. Yeah, reggaeton, hip hop, rap, and stuff like that. And here, like they listen to mariachi too, which
They do.
they listen to mariachi too.
Ooh.
Which I find very interesting.
See, this has been the problem for me is that for those of you who've never experienced either Latin clubs or Mexico, is that it's very loud. And I also like loud music, like I get it, but Mexicans take it to the next level. And so what I've always found when you walk into a Latin club is that they always have it so loud that they've blown the speakers in general. So like that's always your first impression is the music is so loud it like is deafening from the minute you walk in. And they blew the speakers like 2 years ago and they're still just cranking it because they're like, oh, well, it just needs to be loud.
Yeah.
And it felt very subwoofers farting all over the place. That has been my general experience of Latin clubs. So the music all sounds like shit when you walk into it. And that has been now maybe in Portugal it's different, but at least
Germany is also not like there's also Latin clubs.
Germany does not count as anything though. Germany's bizarre.
Okay, but Portugal has Latin clubs.
Yes, because everyone knows of the famous Latino clubs in Germany.
There are a lot of Latino clubs in Germany. There are a lot of Latino people Thank you for that follow, Duncan.
World famous.
There
Spain, true, yes.
there are a lot of obviously Latino places in Germany.
Thanks so much for the
There
follow.
are so many Latino people living in Germany.
Of course, I'm not saying that there's not. I'm just
Especially in
making
Munich, for
it's called a joke. You ever heard of a joke?
Joke?
Yeah, yes,
Joke?
Ajax. Colgate.
Ah,
Sears.
Ajax.
Ajax. Yes, but it's...
Joke?
Yes.
Qué bueno.
Wow. Distortion hype. Yes,
But-
it is true. It is true.
In a club, you do not go to listen to music. You go to grind up to some rando's crotch.
Crutch.
Crotch.
So she goes and finds disabled people and grinds up on them. That's what she does. That's kind of strange. It's fine. The more, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, offended coverage equals a. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're grinding on someone with crutches, it could be an athlete. What's your issue? Maybe they just injured themselves playing football. You know, maybe it's a good-looking soccer player, but he's got crutches because he sprained his ankle on the turf. Okay, I'm just setting the scenario. I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah.
Too many Mexico adult channels. We haven't watched any, sadly, for us.
But we don't have any, do we?
No, I don't think so.
Aw.
I don't think so.
They would probably be censored.
No.
No?
Why would they be censored?
I don't know.
I think Mexico's fine with it.
But Latin clubs anywhere, it's just you go there
I think
for
that's-
dancing.
Yes, I
Dancing
agree
is
with
getting
that.
drunk. You get drunk and dance. You don't
Drunk
really
sing
drunk sing.
and then
yeah.
rubbing up on people with crutches.
Yeah.
That's-
You twerk on people's crutches. That's
Yeah,
what you do. There's like a crutch and you're like,
So will you see like multiple women around doing this? Will there be
one
like
crutch?
they're competing for the person with the crutch?
Yeah.
It's like the only place in the world that you can go where it's like, oh, I'm injured, and the women are all like, oh, God, thank you. No, is that not a thing? That's true. That's the best.
Yeah.
So if I ever sprain my ankle, I know Latin clubs are the place to go.
Yeah.
That's good.
You're
If I
gonna go
need-
there with your crutch and women are like,
Yes.
"Hey, papi. Oh, me gusta tu crutches.
Stop grinding and call a doctor.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree. It's fine.
That would be very bad.
Maybe
Like,
do you
if
feel
you're-
like people would just pretend to be heard all the time? You just have all these dudes showing up, and then I'll be like fake limping around the club, like, oh my God, oh my ankle, someone get me a crutch. And then the ladies are like, oh. Music Exposed.
Hi, welcome to Music Exposed, the show where we talk about music.
That's true. This is definitely
Aaron-
call a doctor, but keep grinding. That's true.
Aaron is probably like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Well, I mean, for people who don't watch my channel that much, I mean, this is kind of par for the course.
Yeah.
This is not unusual. I mean,
my channel
I was talking about how Jason Momoa is so hot that she can make moms forgive human trafficking. Like, we did talk about that.
Oh, true, yeah.
That is true. I'm just saying.
About that,
It'll buff. Get me a cerveza. I should have bought a cerveza, but
For today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually was looking at some at the liquor store.
Yeah.
They had like a the biggest liquor store that we went to just now.
It was like
had
iguana or something.
The biggest
Biggest
section.
crutch.
The biggest section was tequila.
Of course.
So
Like how you don't.
tequila.
Like how you don't know.
No,
It's like that's what they make
It's
it
like
here.
hundreds of different tequilas.
Because they make it here. I know.
What do you get in
Big
Europe?
brain. Your big brain right
Dude,
now.
but in Europe you get like what, 3 different types of tequila or something.
Oh no, they make it here. Oh my God, mind of
Stupid.
page. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for all the follows and
Thank
everyone
you
in Aaron's
guys.
crew. Thank you guys. How long will we be here? We will be here
2 weeks.
for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, we arrived 3 days ago, and
Thank you guys so much for the love. And as we said, for those of you who are new to the show, Erin will be on in just a few minutes. We'll actually have her go live in just a minute. For those of you who are waiting for her, the guest always comes on in the second hour because we're
Yeah.
weirdos that talk about
people
this.
like for some reason people like when we talk the first hour about whatever.
Yeah.
And
I don't know that people actually like it.
We
but-
promise the second hour we talk about music and about what the guest does and what they.
No, we're only going to talk to Erin about
Mexico.
mariachi. Yes.
How about Mary?
Like
Aaron.
Aaron, we know that you're a musician, but do you like men with crutches? Are you into mariachi?
Aaron, have you been doing mariachi music?
You haven't. Hang up. Anyway, back to music.
Anyway, back to music. So the other day I went to a club.
I saw this guy with crutches from
And I was like,
wrestler.
"Ooh, that makes me
"Whoa,
laugh."
yes." Yeah, that's how the interview is going to go. For those of you who haven't been here for that before, that's true. That is
It's
true.
going to be available on all podcasts thingies.
Podcasts, yes. And
Podcasting.
for those of you who don't know that, I need to add a command for that. Since we moved it to our channel, I forgot to put in the command of those kinds of things. What do I think about country music? I think there's always something good to be found in any genre of music. Personally, I'm not a huge country music fan, and the biggest reason for me is that I don't personally really enjoy the sound of steel guitar. Like, for me, I don't like the sound of a steel guitar.
Like steel guitar?
I don't.
I used to
don't like
play
steel
in this band that was called the Rattlesnake Torpedoes. And
Torpedoes?
Yeah,
I like that.
Torpedoes. And the Rattlesnake Torpedoes were country and rock band.
A crock band?
A crock band. And we used to perform at least like 3 times a month or something, or 2 times a month. In a complete
Complete? In a country? I don't know.
in a country saloon.
That went
And
silent.
also when we were booked in other places, and there's like I was the only woman too, and 13 people in this band, and there
Yeah.
was one.
Did you have a jug? Did you have a jug player?
Jug player? Jug? What is a jug?
You didn't have somebody that played a jug?
What is a jug? I don't know what that is.
A giant bottle? A jug? You don't know?
A bottle?
Never seen a jug band?
No.
I'll have to show you
I
that.
don't know what that is.
What about a washboard? Yes, I watched
Yeah.
plenty of Bad Tooth.
We
Bad
had
Tooth
a
records,
washboard.
yes.
We had a washboard player.
Yeah.
His name was Paco. And Paco,
Oh, the washboard.
Paco the washboard player.
I love
Paco
this.
had a
I
washboard,
love this.
and he would play a lot of that. And we had a steel guitar player,
Yeah.
and we had a banjo player that would come every few months from America. I don't know from where, but he
Yes.
would be a banjo player. And the steel guitar player was fucking awesome. Like
Yes.
I loved like how he was like.
I just don't like the sound of
I
steel
really-
guitar. It's not my thing.
Really?
I don't
just
like it.
found to be so cool.
It's just not my favorite.
I just thought steel guitar is such a cool instrument.
It's not my favorite.
Hmm.
I don't know why. And then I feel like most of modern country is just very generic pop music with guitars in it.
I agree.
So
Yeah, that's
it's
terrible.
not. It's.
Although I do like Tennessee whiskey.
I hate that song. See, for me though, the thing is, I try to preface a lot of these things by saying, I used to host karaoke shows for 6 or 7 years. I hosted karaoke for a long time, and I've gone to karaoke quite a bit. And songs that get oversung at karaoke tend to drive me crazy. And every woman that can kind of sing will sing Tennessee Whiskey, or will sing Black Velvet, or will sing.
Tennessee
Yeah,
Whiskey is
Aaron
great.
gets it. Hosting karaoke ruins so many songs because you have to listen to horrible renditions
That's
of
true.
it every single week. And Tennessee Whiskey is kind of a repetitive, very slow.
What do I say?
It feels like it goes on
Tennessee whiskey
forever.
is a song that I have in my song list for
You
people to request.
have tons of songs in your song list that I don't like. We've talked about this
Help
before.
me
and
make
that's
it through
okay.
the night. One of my favorite country songs. Help me make it through the night. Take your ribbon from your.
I guess I'm the microphone stand now. What's up, Moosey? How are you? See, Makes It Fit knows what I hate. Makes It Fit knows what I hate.
Help me make it.
That is
through
my
the night.
most hated song of all time is Don't Stop Believing by Journey. I don't like Journey to begin with.
I don't like Don't Stop Believing either.
And Don't Stop Believing is
Horrible.
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 So for me, it's like the minute it starts, I'm just like, oh my god, I hate it so much. And so of course, because Sweet Child of Mine makes karaoke great. I actually feel like most people won't attempt a song like that.
Late Marmalade. Really interesting.
Yeah, see, for the Don't Stop Believing, but see, there's a different. So for those of you who haven't done a lot of, Zombie is the best karaoke song. But for those of you that have not been to a lot of karaoke, which I've been to way more karaoke than any human in their life, should have
Because
been
you
to.
organize them.
I did, but before that, I would go every week or multiple times a
I
week.
don't understand that. I would never do that.
I love it,
I
'cause
can't
I love to
listen to
sing.
people. But I hate listening to people that cannot sing.
I love it.
Like sometimes even on
I love
Twitch,
it.
I go on Twitch and there's people who can't, like they're trying their best, but then sometimes they're like out of tune a lot, and I can't. It literally hurts.
I feel like
It hurts
karaoke.
me.
Okay, so here's the
It
thing.
hurts me. When people
Karaoke-
are out of tune. It hurts.
Karaoke
it hurts
is
me both.
different to me than a Twitch stream.
Right?
This is the thing. Karaoke is different to me than a Twitch stream, though, because in a Twitch stream you don't have any energy from. It's very hard to get. We've talked about this. Like you have watched me perform in person versus
Yeah, I
me
think
watching
you
on
in
stream.
person are
I'm
much
way
better in terms
bigger.
of performing, like,
But you don't have
energy.
You don't have that on a stream, which is or it's very difficult to create unless you have a very active chat and a very active audience. So it's tough to feel the performer's energy when you're watching on a stream. So on a stream, of course, it's going to feel way worse.
Yeah, but a
Whereas
person that does karaoke only and is like, they're
Yes, but-
probably awkward too. They're like standing there, they
No,
have
no,
no stage presence, and they're like,
you can ignore those people, but my favorite people are the people that sing horribly but give it 100%. Those people are
okay,
my
but
favorite
those-
people
but
in the
those
world.
are fun. Those are probably drunk too.
Yes, like to me, people
Yeah.
who get drunk and sing horrible karaoke, I love them. Like they're my spirit animal. Like they are my spirit animal. I love that so much. Well, no, and it is what karaoke is for.
Mariachi, achy breaky heart. That sounds amazing.
All right, hold on. The problem is I can't check to see if Erin is live without going off of this. So I just realized that. So Erin is she is. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, really quick. I normally don't have to do this, but because we're in this remote and in this weird setup, we're gonna kick it over to EBX Erin. I'm so excited to have her on the show. We are going to get that ready. Give us 1 second, and we will bring her on. I'm so excited. One moment.
One moment, please.
Yeah, the second I turn this off, it's gonna. Where it is.
So I'm live right now, but everything is muted. So I was waiting for the go.
Hold on, that's the wrong button. Stage performance. Okay.
Okay. Nope.
And that's not the right channel. Yes. Nailed it. We are killing it right now.
That's amazing.
That's fine. Are you on your regular channel, not your bot channel now?
No, that's the right channel. I'm live right now.
Hold on, let me refresh. Let's refresh.
Yeah, no, I'm live, confirmed.
Refreshing right now.
Refresh, right?
Refresh right now. Right about now. I don't know why I wasn't showing you as live. There she is.
You need to click here.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
here we go.
There
But
we go.
I'm muted on the stream. You
There
won't
we
hear
go, there we
anything on
go.
the stream.
There we go. And clear go. Yay!
Okay. I'll hold a second. Can you confirm that my channel has volume? Okay. Good? Y'all can hear me now, huh? Go! 3D Code Warrior. Hello, 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 Music Exposed chat. You fine. I hope you all are having a lovely Saturday. If you don't know me, my name is Erin. I plan on playing 2 originals today. The first one's called Fame. What if I said I'd be gone tomorrow to relieve the sorrow? I'm just so tired, it's getting hard to reach. I'm for my hand and we can see if my life was meant to be. Underneath this high anxiety, sometimes you know. But do I go, or should I stay again tonight? Don't let it be the last goodbye. Let me hold you till the morning light. Can promise I can make you smile. Should I stay or tell me, should I go? What if I said I was never happy? Would you be glad you met me? I'm just so tired, it's getting hard to see from beneath this hazy view. But then again, I'm lucky to have you here to help me break on through. Sometimes, you know, but do I go, or should I stay again tonight? Don't let it be the last goodbye. Let me hold you till the morning light. Can I stay for just a while? I promise I can make you smile. Should I stay or tell me, should I go? But do I go? But do I go? Or should I stay again tonight? Don't let it be the last goodbye. Let me hold you till the morning light. Can I stay for just a while? I promise I can make you smile. Should I stay or tell me, should I go? Should I stay or tell me, should I go? Should I go? Should I stay or tell me, should I go? Should I stay or tell me, should I go? So that song was called Fame. That is by my band, Elsie Binx. I wore my Elsie Binx hat so you guys could all see. EBX Jen in chat is also in my band, Elsie Binx. And again, that one's called Fame. I wrote that song actually about Chris Cornell's passing. And so yeah, it's kind of one that I like to put on a pedestal. It's one of my favorites. The other song that I wanted to loop and sing for you guys today is called Goddess, and it's actually on our upcoming record. It is not released yet. Actually, Jen in the chat wrote the 98% of these lyrics, and it's one of my new favorites. It's going to be out on our album hopefully in September. I'm gonna go with September. That's our goal. That is the goal. And again, this one's called Goddess. That is too fast, is what that is.
My bad. That's too fast. That wouldn't have gone very well for anybody. Aw, thanks, Eddie, man. Thank you guys. This song's called Goddess, and that is going to be on our upcoming record, one of Elsie Binx's upcoming records. I'm really, really excited about it. And yeah, so those are the two that I had prepared. Thank you for letting me play. I'm excited to chat with you guys.
Do one more song. Do one more.
What?
We were yelling at you to do one more song.
Oh, I
We
can
love
do
you.
one more song.
Do one
Okay.
more.
All right. I've been told to do one more. I've been told to do one more song. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right. Should I do a new one or should I do, I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm stuck between Before I'm Dead and maybe Diamond, even though I know it's not coming out soon. I'm stuck. Guys, I'm stuck. What should I do? Trish said Before I'm Dead, so I'm going to do Before I'm Dead. Everyone loves Shine too. That's true. Before I'm Dead is a good one. Let's do that. It's more looping. Aw, thank you guys. I appreciate all of your faces so much. D. Before I'm dead is great too, yeah. All right, let me preset here. Aw, thanks you for all the love in chat. I appreciate all of your faces so much. It's just like being at a regular gig when they're yelling at the stage, one more song, one more song. There's a sing-along at the end of this one too. So you gotta pay attention. There are things I can't remember. There are things I've said and done that I know I can't begin to take back every single one. There are places I've forgotten, plenty left behind in time. I'm so glad I had the chance to call each one mine. I've been sitting here in this old bar, strumming away on that old guitar. Not sure how long it's been, but I don't really need a friend. I've been sitting here in this old bar, trying to leave, can't get too far. It's time to put myself to bed. I don't think I'll be back before I'm dead. There are people I've been missing, many years just can't rewind. But I know the one who matters most are very hard to find. It's a love that keeps me going, the support that keeps me strong. But I know the end is drawing near, so sing it on and on and on. I've been sitting here in this old bar, strumming away on that old guitar. Not sure how long it's been, but I don't really need a friend. I've been sitting here in this old bar, trying to leave, can't get too far. It's time to put myself to bed. I don't think I'll be back before I'm dead. I guess it's time to hear that call. One more shot for us, that's all. Here's to all you fellas hanging out all night with me. Yeah, I don't think you'll disagree. Yeah, yeah. Oh. In Michigan, this is country, but in Texas, this is not country, we have learned. ready, man. This is where y'all come in. Give me those nods. I love it when chat's singing along. Hey, That's it. That's how the song ends. Thank you for all the nods in chat. I love it. And thank you for having me do one more song.
Oh, hi, we're all here for a second.
Yes.
Normally we normally rotate shots on the show, but because of our Mexican tomfoolery down here and getting this done, we're just going to have EBX Erin be here so that we can talk to you about the music Exposed Bulletin Board. She can react. She can be like, oh my God, I love that streamer. They're my favorite streamer. I love them so much. Yes.
While I line myself up with my body, it's fine.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's what it's there for. Silence needs an OnlyFans. I might have one if you look hard enough. I might have one. But anyway, so the Music Exposed Bulletin Board, for those of you who are new to the show or have never watched this, is a way for us to announce new streamer releases, to talk about new music that's coming out, and to promote a bunch of other streamers. So if you have never checked it out, or you want to hear new releases or new music that comes from all across this live streaming music world, check out musicexposed.show, and we add new things every single show for you to find out about. And we post it on Twitter normally before the show, and we have some super cool stuff that just came out this week. So Mid-Dream just dropped a new album called 24. He actually wrote the entire thing on stream. I think he did over...
He does that all the time.
Yeah, so he
I think
did...
the last album was like that too.
Yeah, so he did over 24 hours of streaming to write this album that's called 24. You can pick that up on his Bandcamp. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I'm actually very excited because I love his improvisational stuff. For those of you who've never watched his stream, he does super cool electronic music and all sorts of other stuff. And I realize that the drinks are still in front of us. I forgot about that before we changed the camera, but whatever. You can look like I'm drinking. Okay, here, I'm thirsty. All right. So check out Mid-Dream's new album 24. That's on his Bandcamp. Tyler Levs just dropped a new release. He actually dropped 2 in the same week, but I chose the newer one that's called Emergency. So again, Tyler Love's amazing streamer, knows drinking. They're very yummy. They're very fruity drinks. You can tell by how they are. But his new release is called Emergency. He has a DistroKid link up for that, so check that. People ask all the time about those DistroKid links and why we post them. And I know I talk about this a lot on the show, but it's actually super important for artists when they're dropping new tracks or they're pre-releasing things, especially when we post those. If you like the artist or you want to support them, please pre-save those songs. It means a ton to the artist and gives you more chances to be included on playlists and get your song out to other people. So that's a huge request. His is already released, but whenever I see those, it always reminds me to talk about that. And DistroKid is actually, we should talk about that on the next show, that DistroKid just dropped a bunch of new release features for artists too.
Oh, really?
That are coming
Okay.
out. They keep doing new stuff. So whenever I see those links, I'm always encouraged to remember that. So Drive, who is not a streamer, but featuring Link's Music, who is a streamer, just dropped an entire new album. But Link's Music, who's been featured on our list before, is featured on his track that's called Embrace. He has a whole new album out. It's actually his first full album that he's ever released. So again, we have his Bandcamp that's out for that. So check that out, Embrace by Drive, featuring Link's Music. We have Acapella Wolf for the first time appearing on the list. Acapella Wolf just dropped a new track that's called On Agency, another streamer that I actually just learned of and someone shared with me. So I love that. Thank you again for all of you who, when you see those posts, you share in the comments or you let me know when new music is coming out because it helps me put this together. And then finally, Chase Davidson. Chase Davidson is almost on cheat mode because he drops a new track every Friday.
Really?
So he does a song a week right now, which is how I started when I was doing that. So it makes a huge difference. But Chase Davidson has basically been featured every week for the last few weeks. And he has another new song out with a new video that's called Never Change. He actually just finished his album that's called Star Space. So we featured that last week. And his new single is called Never Change. So that has a YouTube link to it, but he has that and where all music is found. So again, Mid-Dream, Tyler Levs, Drive featuring Links, Acapella Wolf, and Chase Davidson. That is this week's Music Exposed Bulletin Board. We can pretend to clap because we don't have the applause set up. Oh my god! And now I have to plug this in. Are we hearing anything? Is the question. No, we're not. I'm going to do this one again because this worked earlier. There we go. Now we're hearing it. Hi. We have to look at our amazing headphone setup that we have here.
It's very professional.
It is. We are very professional, but again, we have the best technology in the world for this kind of thing.
Actually, I mean, this is a killer laptop. You know?
It is a killer laptop. I agree with that. There are pros and cons. We can talk about DistroKid if people want to know about that. Yeah. There are pros and cons to DistroKid, which I'm happy to answer to Jen. There are cons to DistroKid.
First of all, we want to reintroduce EBX Aaron.
Oh, still not. Hi, Aaron.
Hi.
There we go. I just needed to make sure. First of all, amazing performance.
Yes.
Such a great job. Normally we'd have all of our claps and stuff, but we didn't have that ready to go.
Yeah, we have like a sound sample. But I think the show has been going well today.
I actually am very happy. I know this is very selfish to talk about, but I'm actually very happy by how smoothly it's gone today. Like there's been a few little bitty things, but for what it is, like we actually had a tech issue too where our normal way of interviewing guests wasn't working. So we're having to use Discord and do other stuff. And it was an experience, but you know what? For what it's worth, it's been amazing, and we're so excited to have you. And especially, I think you are the first artist on the show, other than myself, that is from the Detroit metro area. You're from my hometown, which makes me very happy. So let's start by talking about your band, because obviously there's you, and you're probably who gets seen on stream the most. But tell us a little bit about your band and how you got together with them.
Yeah, so my band is Elsie Binx. I probably said it like a million times while I was performing. But my band is Elsie Binx, And we got together on accident in 2015 because I was working on a studio album. Like I was doing a studio album for me of some of my written work that I had done over the years. And it was just going to be this random studio project, that just solo project, just whatever. I was going to release it just for the hell of it, just to say, oh, look, I have music out there. And so I rebranded myself to Elsie Binx, as opposed to my real name, which I don't, my real name's out there all over social media. So it wasn't really about that so much as it was just like, I was kind of bored with my real name.
Yeah.
So
Sure,
I changed,
sure.
yeah. So I changed my name, and all socials, Elsie Binx. And then as this project kind of snowballed, and I met people who wanted to be a part of this project, and they like believed in the songs I was writing in, and they also had, you know, demos that were like, well, we really like your voice, so maybe you should sing on this demo. Do you have any ideas for this demo? And so it snowballed into, you know, like 3 singles and 4 albums later.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
we have
amazing.
quite, yeah, we have a really chonky little discography going on.
Chonky. Yes,
Chonky.
I like that. I appreciate that.
And so, well, I guess we're working on our 4th studio album right now, but we have 3 whole albums, and I think at least 3 singles out as well over the years. So we started releasing music at the end of 2015, started gigging together 2016, and then the only thing that stopped us was the pandemic, and hopefully this next month we'll be seeing each other again and streaming again. So
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask that question if you have had, because obviously I've watched when you first, actually I think it was a fan of yours that submitted you to the show first, and was the
Yes.
person that encouraged me to reach out to you.
Yes.
And it was funny because I wasn't sure if it was a fan or management, because the letter was so professional
Fair.
that we received. And so we were like, wow, how cool is this? And that was my reaction to it. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. And so obviously I checked out your channel and saw that. But I was curious, have you had the opportunity to perform with the rest of the group yet? Or is that something that you're still working on?
Actually, what's crazy about this whole thing is that when the pandemic hit, and I know in every state, in every country, it kind of all came down in different ways, but we actually were gigging right up until the moment that you couldn't anymore. And so we had a gig cancel. We were on our way to Indiana. And like you said, we're in Detroit, Michigan. We're
Right.
generally based out of Detroit, Michigan. So we were on our way to Indiana to do a show. We got about 20 minutes away from home base, and we get the call that it's not happening.
Yeah.
And so we're like, let's do a live stream. But we're all kind of like over Facebook and not really about it. And we wanted to try something new for the sake of like, we're in a pandemic now. Things are gonna, we already saw the writing on the wall about all the canceled everything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
me and Phil are the 2 like most technologically, I would say, advanced, I guess, people in the group. And I was already on Twitch, and Johnny as well. Those are both the guitar players. Phil actually
nice.
plays bass now, but he's kind of jack of all trades. So he's kind of, and that's,
Oh my
Oh, we're back. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, we're back.
Hey.
Yes, it clearly doesn't like the scene switches remote. This is a fun thing that we're learning. Although I'm still not seeing it, but as long as we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Oh my god, here come all the alerts now. It's fine now.
Yeah,
Sorry about that,
if you
guys.
rehost, please rehost.
Yes,
it.
please rehost. Thank you. And it's because we realized I cursed it. By me saying that everything was working fine, I ruined the stream.
Yes.
Which is, what's funny is it wasn't the Mexico internet, it was the home internet that died for whatever reason. So anyway, let's restart that question, and let's say, okay, have you mentioned that you were talking about that you had some tech people in the band and that you started, but it doesn't seem like you guys have yet performed together as a band fully on stream yet, right?
No, we did. We've done, I think, 5 full band streams.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
But 3 of them were last March because it was before Stay at Home happened.
Gotcha.
And then we did one in August as a part of Arts Beats and Eats. Ken, you probably have heard of
I
that.
have been there many times, yes.
Yep. So they did a whole virtual Arts Beats and Eats, and we were a part of that. And then we did.
There goes everyone. Thank you guys so much for the hosts. We appreciate that.
And then we did a Halloween. I think Halloween was a Saturday this past year, and so we did a Halloween stream. So that's 5, I think. So yeah, we started as a group, and then when Stay at Home came down, and we respected the Stay at Home order, we all stayed apart. Some of us started streaming independently, and a lot of us have kept doing that. And for me, I retired. I was in the wedding industry for about a decade.
Oh wow.
And, Yeah, I was playing with the Dan Rafferty Band and First Call for almost 10 years with DRB, and then I kind of switched over and I helped manage and run First Call, and I was an MC, DJ, and band leader, and I retired, and Twitch is it. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And so when the band gets back together, we hope to keep streaming as a band. Like we're going to try to put aside time to stream as a band, but also we're going to start slowly baby stepping our way into gigs.
Into gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we never intended to stop gigging. It's just, baby steps after what we've all been through,
Right.
But I do think that we intend to stream as a band.
Okay.
Hopefully a couple times a month. But for me, even personally, I know Jen as well. We intend to continue on also as individuals.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so go ahead. You haven't had a chance for a question yet.
Yeah.
So
Actually, in chat, I saw people saying your country. I would say it's more pop, but how would you describe the genre?
So like when I play it, it sounds like country pop.
yeah.
And I think it's just it's hard to translate actual rock music to just keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agreed.
And so when everybody in chat goes and listens on Spotify or Apple or something, you will hear that we are rock. We
Yes.
are very, very guitar driven. But my vocals, and we have like very, very tight vocal harmonies. That's kind of what I think Jen even said it in chat. That's what pushes it into like country a little bit.
Sure.
And people hear like the Chicks, that type of harmony. And so it's hard in Michigan, at least. In the northern states, people are going, "Oh, you're country." But then when you go down south, they yell at the stage, "Play some country."
Yeah, of course.
So, and that's no lie. That is
Yep.
legitimately what happens. So, honestly, I kind of tell people it's like we're rock pop, but this new album coming out is way, way more rock. I would say there are only 2 or 3 even remotely poppy songs. They're
Yeah.
very rock grunge. Some are kind of industrial in nature because of the production.
Yes.
So, and then we have an album that's entirely acoustic, and some of it is country. So
Right.
we're all over the board. We're trying to please everybody.
Yeah. That makes
Yes.
sense. So how do you pitch your performance to venuers? What do you say like you do? Because you do everything. I remember like for example, with my band, I would always say like jazz and blues, but we weren't really jazz and blues. We were like everything kind of, but it's so difficult to say, hey, we do this and this and this and this, and like it's so difficult to sell it that way, especially when you use things that not everybody likes, like country or jazz and stuff like that. So how do you pitch your band to venuers?
So a couple of years ago, we decided that we were going to have a press kit page on our website, and it has a list of live videos that are rock and a list of live videos that are acoustic, because we have 2 very different shows. We can all put stools on a stage and do an acoustic show if that's what your venue needs, or we can fucking rock it out and that's what your venue needs. So for us, we have, and he's actually in chat right now, Jimmy Jams is one of our biggest fans, one of my best friends.
Aw.
And he comes to a lot of gigs and he records them just on his iPhone, but that's the best. Sometimes that's the best recording you can get because it doesn't lie. It's not been edited. And so those are the kind of videos that we actually will send to people, because it's like, this isn't edited. This is you want to know what we sound like and look like? This is it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I have compiled lists of our acoustic gigs and rock gigs. And that's depending on the gig, we send each playlist, but there's literally a 1 page on our website that is like an electronic press kit. And that's what it is. It's like, hey, what do you need? We can probably pull it off. Do you need low vibes or do you need rock vibes?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, because people were asking about the description, and I left it in there for a reason, actually, to remind myself. Because, first of all, I want to thank you, because I think Erin, more than anybody else on the show, has been disrupted by our crazy schedules, because we had to reschedule her because of travel earlier when I was with you in Germany. And then this happened to fall on like a week ago we decided we're going to be in Mexico. And so first of all, thank you so much for being so gracious and dealing with us and all of our nonsense of having to be together and doing that. But you were originally scheduled to be on during Endometriosis Awareness Month. And so I didn't take that out of the description because I still wanted to discuss it, because I know it was an issue that was important to you when you were talking to us before. So first of all, tell us about your connection to that, and tell us a little bit about what you did that month, because obviously we were supposed to talk then, but we're talking now. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's been no problem at all. You guys are so easy to work with. I'm not even worried about it.
Thank you.
But yeah, so Paige in the chat is one of the Endo Warriors I actually had on my collab stream that I did. It was kind of like I did this giant month goal for the Endometriosis Foundation of America. They call themselves EndoFound. Just for the record, I'm not all the words. EndoFound. And so I think that my community raised $3,000, I think.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
Close to $3,000. If anybody in chat remembers, that was like 3 months ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was incredibly blown away. And at the end of the month, I did this. I called it an Endo Chat. And I literally scoured Twitter and found other streamers who have endometriosis. And I put together a Twitter list and I DM'd damn near all of them. And the ones that got back to me, I put together this chat collab stream of 3 women who happened to identify as women. The list wasn't all women, but these 3 did particularly identify as women, and Paige was one of them. And it was such an interesting thing to do, and I want to do it again. It doesn't really need to be March, This is my life all the time, frankly. So fuck it. I should do it more outside of March, but it did take a lot of time and energy. But it was a lot of research, and it was really eye-opening because we all have different experiences with endometriosis. And just quickly, for anybody in chat who doesn't know what endometriosis is.
That was going to be my next question, was for those of you who don't know what it is.
Thank you, Dee, for looking at the number. I knew it was close to 3K. So it was almost 3K, which is incredible. Just incredible. And so endometriosis is usually found in the reproductive organs for anybody who has a uterus. And I say that because trans men can have endometriosis. Non-binary people who have a uterus can have, you know what I mean? So the language is important here.
Yeah,
And so people with endometriosis, it is not just a women's health thing. It is a human health thing. And there's not a lot of research. And here's the thing about when you're talking about a disease that doesn't have a lot of research is that one person can say something and then you'll have a whole separate medical field saying that's not what we're saying anymore. So as of right now, it's an autoimmune disease. It is when somebody with a uterus has, a menstrual cycle and some of the fluid leaks up into their body, and it kind of attaches itself to your organs, and it creates scar tissue, and it can cause organ failure. Or it can go unnoticed and unchecked for many, 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 many years, and then one day be a problem. So people suffer with it for sometimes decades before anybody will go actually get it diagnosed, because you can't see it in ultrasounds. You can't see it in MRIs. It's scar tissue. And so it's literally only diagnosed with a biopsy, or if you have another surgery, sometimes they'll if they suspect it, they'll go in and look for that specifically. And that's what happened to me. Long story short, in 2013, in 2012, I was in a lot of pain. My body was breaking down in ways that 2012, I was 23. So my body was doing things that it shouldn't be. And I was in a lot of pain, and it was a long time coming. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. Scar tissue acts like glue. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things were going wrong in my body, and nobody wanted to deal with it. None of my doctors were taking it seriously. And that's what happens to 99.9% of people that end up getting diagnosed with endo, is because they're it's IBS, it's Crohn's, it's, or you're overweight and that'll fix it. And believe it or not, doctors will say, if you're having that many issues with your reproductive organs, you should have a baby.
That's wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is real talk. I was told I should have a baby.
Wow. That's insane.
And so again, TLDR on that. I ended up because my medical professionals around me weren't listening to me. I ended up with a cyst the size of a small grapefruit inside my right ovary.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Yeah. And again, I was in the wedding industry at this time. This took me out of work. They basically were like, we don't know how this hasn't burst in your body. So when my doctor finally allowed me to get ultrasounds at the time, she was like mortified. This is a female doctor, by the way.
Yeah.
She was mortified and was like, you need to schedule a surgery immediately. And so that's what happened. And it didn't burst prior, but it did burst on the way out, which they were prepared for because, again, giant cyst.
Yeah.
We were able to I was able to keep all my organs and everything, but there was also a small chance that there were cancerous cells in my pelvic region.
Oh.
So I had a cancer scare when I was 20. And it's all because my doctors didn't listen to me. And you know what I mean? Like if they had just been like, oh, you're in pain, let's check it out. Then literally none of these things might have happened. They might have seen the cysts because we would have been doing ultrasounds more often. And so it's crazy because almost every person I had on my endo chat that day had the same story. And it's disgusting. Wow. We shouldn't have this terrible breakdown in communication. And that's why I go so hard in March about it. Because if all of us tell our story and we keep pushing doctors to do the right thing and listen to us when we say we're in pain, it's not female hysteria, you know? Like,
of course.
Yeah.
They always go to something along those lines of you don't know what you're talking about.
Of course.
Yeah. And so that's why I go so incredibly hard in March and I raise money and I tell my story, even though it's really personal. You know, I talk about my cervix toward 100 people regularly. Like this is not normal. You know what I mean? And so it's definitely something that is important to talk about. And D, absolutely. I've been on birth control for more than half my life.
Yeah.
More than half my life because it's the only pain management.
Right.
Let me say that again. Birth control is the only pain management for endometriosis.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
and
we'll have to remember that. Make sure that you reach out to us next March too, and we'll make sure, because we'll obviously still be doing the show, so we'll make sure to push to that too.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I would love that so much.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's one of the things is just getting people don't want to talk about it because they've been told by their medical professionals that they're crazy and that it's not happening and that you're too young or just there's, a gamut of different things they can tell you when you're telling them the truth. And so that wasn't really TLDR. That was just long.
No, this is good. No, this is I actually think this is super important because I like these are the type. This is why the show is called Music Exposed, because we want to talk about things like this that aren't the normal. Like, why do you play music? Like, why do you love music? Like, oh my god, Tarzan. Like, oh my god. No, and I appreciate that. I have a question. Obviously, with us being Detroit artists, I'm always curious about this, and I think that. Personally, for me, growing up in Michigan, and I lived in Michigan basically my entire childhood, and I didn't move away until I was 19. And then I moved back for a couple of years, and I left again. And I feel like Michigan, or Detroit, the Detroit area in particular, has a very unique musical fingerprint. And I feel like I tend to find that when I talk to people about their influences or the things that stick with them. Never Muse, thank you so much for them biddies. Appreciate that. Them biddies. But I'm curious, so obviously you grew up in the area as well. What do you feel, first of all, do you feel like that's true, that there's kind of a unique Detroit fingerprint that comes up for you? And if so, what are some of the artists or what are some of the things that you feel are a little bit different about being a Detroit area artist or growing up with the types of influences that we grew up with?
So, number one, I 100% agree that there is a very specific rock, anything, even the jazz, every type of genre here it has that Detroit stamp. And when we leave Michigan, people are like, are you guys from Detroit?
Yes.
We had that happen a lot. And they're like, we could just tell. I'm like, okay, is that a good thing? They're like,
to me it is.
So, right. There is a specific Detroit sound and there's a Pacific. There's a specific type type vibe that we give off, and it's that you either like us or you fucking don't.
Yeah.
And it's like we're going to be who we are, and we don't give a fuck what you think about it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's not normal.
It is not. It is not.
And so it's kind of funny. We're just unabashedly ourselves, and it's like if you don't fucking like it, leave, go.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't think I've ever heard another artist say it like that, which is exactly how I've been like, man, I walk around this way, and I don't meet a lot of people that have that mindset, but that's also the scene I came up in. So for me, that's exactly what I thought is you could go to shows, and I feel like this has been my experience too, because I've lived all over the country now, going to other places, and they tend to be very segregated. Whereas if you went to go see a show at St. Andrews, or you went to Shelter, or you went to Clutch Cargo, or you went to any of the places that were there in the area, the lineups were even very diverse. So you'd have like an electronic band with a rock band with a whatever band. Whereas in a lot of places, it's way more. Oh my God, Northbound Matt, thank you so much.
Matt, thank you so much.
Also, thank you for changing that command for me. I appreciate that. But I feel like you get more diversity in the lineups too when you go to see a show, and you'll be exposed to different types of music, and there's more of an amalgam of things than you see in other markets where it's like rock acts play with rock acts, these people play with these people. At least that was my experience, and part of why I feel like that really impacted music for me as well, because when I came into it, it's like, oh well, I have huge passions for rock, and I have huge passions for electronic music, and I have huge passions for this scene, and they can fit together. Whereas, it's when you go to Boston, for example, where I lived for years, and you see a lot of shows that circulate around Berklee College of Music or those kinds of things, it's very segregated. It's like, oh, you're a jazz, you go here.
Yeah.
You're a rock, you go here. You're an indie, you go
It's
here.
very interesting because you guys talking about this kind of makes me understand something more, because one of a bigger jazz people wrote liner notes for one of my albums. And he said I sound like a Detroit saxophonist.
Yes,
and I
said
always
that.
was like, okay, like I have no idea what that means. But you guys talking about it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
And explains that a little
And
bit
I love
better.
that, that there's a festival culture in Detroit. There's an innovation culture in Detroit. There's an underdog culture in Detroit. And again, you can correct me on any of these that you think are wrong. But I think the underdog culture is one of the biggest things of obviously Detroit for most of my life, and was basically looked at as a shithole. And it's like it was a bomb-ridden city, and everyone remembers tanks in the streets in the 60s, and that's it. And so clearly it's just a ghetto.
Yeah.
And so there's this very much like, fuck you, I'll do what I want spirit. And the indie, that's why you get so many superstars that emerge out of the indie scene there, because they do something that you can't hear anywhere else. And it'll pop up and you'll go, oh wow, like I've never heard anything like this before. And that exists in all the different concert venues and places around. And obviously, I haven't heard a lot about this, but that's obviously something that I was worried about with COVID and a lot of music venues going under and a lot of that kind of thing. So I'm sure Detroit being Detroit, it will persevere, but I find that to be very interesting when you think about that.
I have a question actually, Aaron. So when you perform in the Detroit area versus when you perform in other places and regions, do you feel like gigs, real life gigs, do you feel like there's differences in the places, how the people react and the venuers, or no?
100%. Huge difference. Yeah. Ken's like 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's sometimes, we're people in Detroit love us. This is true, but we oversaturated ourselves. And so,
Sure.
We kind of needed to calm down, but we were like, we had too much momentum and none of us were going to talk about it. So, you know what I mean? Like we weren't slowing down, and I will say that we needed the slowdown of gigs. That is how I'll phrase that. We did need that to happen. And we tried for many years to get a Detroit Music Award. And this year we didn't try at all, and we got one. And that,
of course, that's how it works.
that's what Jen said in the chat. She said DMA. And so like for years we were trying to get in people's mouths, just know our name. You don't even have to know our music, but like just anybody in Detroit who says Elsie Binx, they're like, oh, I know somebody in that band, or I have accidentally seen them at a show because they opened up for somebody. And it finally happened, year after year, I was putting our name in, and the Detroit Music Awards they're publicly voted upon, but like you have to be in like approved to vote. So it's not
Yeah.
just like
Even be-
put it out
yeah.
into social media and hey, everybody vote. It's not like that. You have to be in the scene
Yeah.
to
Right.
vote. And this is the first year. Well, 2020 was the first year that I didn't even put our name into the pot. I didn't do anything regarding that, and we've won. Jen, please remind me in the chat which category, because I'm gonna fuck it up if I try to remember right now. But like we needed that recognition of just, you know, in Detroit we had people who are, you know, it was one of two things. It's the people who are not weekend warriors who adore us and love what we do, and then there are the people who are the weekend warriors who don't like us because we're coming up and doing something real and putting a really good stage show together. And so I don't know, and that could just be a hometown thing, no matter what, no matter where you're from. I feel like some weekend warrior band's gonna be like, "Fuck y'all, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't give a shit." You know,
Right.
We've been doing it for 2, but better. So fuck you.
And clearly you guys work hard. I can ask a million questions. I love this so much. It's so
I'm
good.
here to answer them. Oh yes. So Jen said it was outstanding alt punk indie group.
Yes.
And that's under the rock category. So it was just kind of a mesh of, you're not this, so we'll give you this award.
Yes, we'll just give you the mix it all together in a whole award. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Jen, so we have, you know, a professional touring rig. Me and Kevin, our manager and co-founder, we put together a professional touring rig. We have all IEMs, we have all wireless mics. We don't fuck around. We do not. We have a PA. We have our drummer runs a pad where we have 808s and a couple sound effects. Like, we do not fuck around. But the weekend warrior bands don't like that. They think it's pretentious. They have always looked down upon it, and that's the thing, is we're trying to create this atmosphere. We wrote this music and we fucking love it so much, and we just wanted to do it the right way. And don't get me wrong, there are lots of bands in the city that do love us and they want to play with us and we want to play with them. Yeah. But it's this weekend warrior mentality that's the troubling part of it for us, is that we don't want to play with weekend warrior band that does, you know, X, Y, and Z just to make all the money. We want to play with the other Bleeding Heart original artists.
Right.
And so
now I want to go off that point, because this is a huge point that I've always had a question about with Twitch. So how have you merged those two mindsets when it comes to Twitch? Because at least in my personal opinion, Twitch has a similar divide of there are lots of people that are here that are chasing a career, and a lot of that career is about playing the hits and being cover artists, and there are particular types of artists that tend to prosper more from the get because they have that kind of thing. And I found, again, at least in my experience when we started the show, is that there are a lot of people who are afraid to launch just doing original music or trying to just do something original. And it's an even harder divide because obviously everything when it comes to Twitch is so related to numbers, and you're constantly watching that, and like, it's true in the real world too. You know, but most of us would be very happy, you know, with a 50 to 100 to 150 person show. Of course, we want more in person, but obviously, and with the numbers on Twitch, that always changes over time. So how have you approached that, or have you noticed that when it comes to Twitch, of saying like, oh yeah, there's kind of both, where you have to play the hits and you want to play your original stuff you're passionate about? How has that worked out for you, and how have you approached that issue, you know, when you've been developing your channel?
I mean, that's a great question. And I am kind of so not the typical Twitch streamer. And so I did, because I didn't start this on purpose. It kind of just like fell into my lap. And the same way with the wedding band that I worked for, they found me and they were like, we want to audition you, and if you want the job, it's yours. Yeah. And so like I've had all these amazing opportunities, and same with my band. Like, oops, we have a band now. Like, so all these amazing opportunities have pulled me in different directions. And even before I was in the wedding band, I did acoustic gigs with just me and a guitar. And I did play a handful of the originals that eventually now are released as Elsie Binx songs. But I knew that, you know, going to a coffee house and playing covers is going to make you money. Okay, cool. Let's do that instead of going to work at the bar. Let's do that.
Sure.
But I did both, but that's okay. And so I went from that to being in a wedding band, which is, you know, that's here we are. It's exactly all the music you've been hearing for the last 50
Yeah.
years,
Of course.
making good money doing that. And so me going into Twitch, I am a very statistical person. I need to know my numbers. I need to know what I'm doing is paying off. Maybe not literally with money, but like also exposure, balancing all the things. And so for me, it never even occurred to me to have an all original channel because we're a rock band and I can't literally play all of the songs. Because the translation and I can't play karaoke tracks because DMCA.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's literally all licensed music. Even though I own it, it doesn't matter. The hits
Yep,
would still
doesn't
come
matter,
through.
yep.
So I can't exactly do it that way either. And so it never occurred to me to just do original music. And that's the honest truth, is that never even occurred to me because I don't have 3 to 4 hours of original music that I could play like that.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, well, I played gigs playing covers for the last decade and it made me money. So let's do this.
Yeah. Right.
And, but here's the difference is that, being in a wedding band, you have zero creative control.
Yes. Exactly.
You sell your soul to make this money on this day at this time, playing the same songs for 10 years.
Right.
Whereas Twitch, it's like I can put in random songs that I fucking adore, and they might not get requested all the time, but somebody will every once in a while be like, this song's been played twice. Let's request it. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to request it.
Right.
And so I love when people do that because then it's usually songs that have stories too, because nobody knows the song, but there's a reason it's in my my song list. And like I accidentally found out that this Casio keyboard I use, that is again an accident that I even have, has this beat in it that sounds just like Fresh Prince. So one day I rapped, because rap for me, I rapped Fresh Prince, and it became a channel reward point. And that's part of the identity of my channel because of this random Casio keyboard that I use.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And so I think a lot of people experience that, is like things just become accidental.
Yeah, it's like accidental memes that just happen.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I do think that, and I just tweeted this, I think last week. I was working on my song list, deleting, adding, and I was like, I want to look at what my top 10 songs are. 7 of the top 10 songs are originals.
That's awesome.
For play count.
Mm-hmm.
And I was blown away. And I really expected to see Tennessee Whiskey.
Yeah.
Because that was my most played song for probably the first 6 months of my time on Twitch.
Sure.
And then I Will Follow You Into the Dark was in there, and Bad Guy was in there, and then there's a couple others that I knew were going to be there, but those 3 were the only 3 in that top 10, and I was just like, how did this happen? People like original music on Twitch, like
yes,
they do.
I forget.
And there's subsets. I think there's subsets of audiences. And this is how I approached it when I was thinking about it too, was saying that I'm a person, and you would get, again, this is another very Detroit thing. It's like, as you refer to the Weekend Warriors, like you can be that crowd, which is a larger crowd. That's the Weekend Warriors that wants to go see the hits, that wants to go see the cover bands, or you can go hang at the Majestic and watch whatever the indie band of the moment is, or you can go hang at wherever. And I was 10 times out of 10, I was at the Majestic, or 10 times out of 10, like that's where I was. And so for me, I'm like, okay, well, those are just totally different audiences. And although in my heart, it's hard because I look at the numbers and I look at tons of people who are willing to do that, grow much faster than I did, I was just like, I just can't, because I knew it wouldn't be the thing. And I also see that, I think both audiences exist on Twitch, which is awesome, but it takes more time, as it does with any indie band, to find that indie audience that's like, okay, I love originals. So it sounds like it went exactly that way for you.
I have the same experience as Aaron, though. For me, I have a ton of originals that I could like just be an originals, music streamer. My problem is that I don't have a band with me on stream. So it's difficult to perform that alone, especially as a saxophonist. Yeah. And I don't do I don't play piano or guitar or whatever at the same time. I'm just, if I
don't play piano and guitar at the same time as saxophone? What a loser ass musician. What a loser.
Leave.
I'm done. Yeah, but I don't do that because I'm a saxophonist and just a singer.
Right.
So for me, it's really difficult to have like all my originals or the originals that I have worked on or written all these years. It's the same thing. It's like how do I do that alone on Twitch? And if I do backing tracks or something, it kind of is boring. I mean, it's nice for a few times and stuff, but it's kind of
Wow,
boring.
shots fired. Thanks.
No, it's kind of boring because especially in most of my stuff is jazz, and jazz lives off of being improvised. So
Yeah.
always having the same backing track and just the saxophone being a little different every time is kind of boring. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah.
Yes. And I
totally
understand.
I
I
totally.
totally understand. I just have to give you shit since you're ripping on musicians that use track, which
No,
is
I'm not
my
ripping on
entire
musicians
stream.
who use track. I'm just saying, I just suck at it because I'm not prolific like that. Where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do a killer piano solo or guitar solo.
Is that how it sounds?
Yeah,
I like it.
because there's
Ooh, it sounds like a turkey.
I like it.
I can do that, you know.
Yes.
But that's why I started using like slide whistles
Yes.
and thunder
Thunder
makers
sticks.
and stuff like that because that it works, and kazoos, you know, so I can have a little bit of different stuff than the saxophone. But
See, Thomas Frank has the same approach I do of just record all the
Yeah.
instruments. I mean, that's what I do. But I also understand why some musicians don't like that. And I can understand why some people would feel like it's not as organic.
yeah,
Now, for me, again, it's like, I don't know. I guess my approach to it, and I know we're talking a lot about ourselves. Sorry for Chad. It's like, oh my God, these guys are so. But it's like, for me, I spent all the goddamn time writing the songs and
Yeah.
doing the arrangements and writing the instruments, and I can extend things, or if things aren't working, I can cut things short. And like, I learned that in performance as I'm
Yeah.
performing the song. So for me, it's different
Yeah.
because it's like, well, yeah, I put all the effort into writing the song. I want to play the song. And so that's, I guess that's why my thing was different. And, you know, but I understand why that's not for everybody.
I have a question that is
Yes.
my favorite question always,
My favorite.
especially for musicians who are, you know, I always call them real musicians. I feel bad,
Yeah.
but it's like
These fake ass Twitch musicians out there.
Before I ask me, remind me of asking
Yeah.
my favorite question. But I have a question for you because I saw that you said in chat you're the same when you hear like musician or like singers on Twitch or wherever who are out of tune or sing very badly. Or you, for example, what I noticed is you have a very powerful voice and you don't overuse that power.
Oh, thank God. I totally agreed with
There are
that
so
too.
many streamers, I'm not going to name names, but we all know a lot of streamers.
Yeah, Sarah Jazz.
Singers who have a powerful voice but overuse that power, you know, and you don't do that. Like you have songs where you don't even use the power, but we can tell like you could like, you know, shake the house down if you wanted to. So how do you feel about when you sometimes go on Twitch and see other, you know, singers or just musicians where they're either overusing their techniques or not even having a technique?
You know, I Twitch is a strange place for music because, and I've said this on other podcasts, like this is nothing I wouldn't say to anybody. It's just like, I think that some people just decide to start streaming and they've never thought about gigging in real life because they probably know it wouldn't go super well.
Yep.
And so they can just do it at home. And like, if they suck, it's nothing off their back, you
Right.
know, like, or do they even know they suck? I don't know.
Probably not.
Like,
Probably not.
Some don't. Some
I
do,
don't
some
know.
don't. Yeah.
I don't know. And it's part of like, you know, when you have the accountability of being in a room with the people you're performing at, you learn real quick what is good and what is bad. You can see it on their faces, whether or not they are doing it on purpose. You can read body language. And so like, and this is huge on streamer Twitter, which is, oh, do you have the live count on? Like, yeah, fucking yes, I have the live view count on because I want to know how many people in the room. Like that comes from needing that, like it's like gig mentality. I can't undo 10 years of that.
Yeah.
So if somebody in the, like, I'm equating this to a real life gig because, you know, and Jen knows we've done we've done shows with terrible bands, and it's like, it's really hard to fake. Like, it's like, okay, I'm going to go to the bar and turn my back on everybody and have a drink, you know, and it's like, you don't want to be disingenuine and be like, yeah,
this is great.
this is great.
So are you also somebody who just leaves the stage? if things are so bad that you just leave the stage? Because I'm somebody like that. I'm like, if something is really bad, I just leave the stage mid-song.
Well, luckily, I've only played with groups that are like super, super OCD about our performances.
Yes.
So So nothing has really ever shit the fan. Shit the fan?
Shit the fan.
Yeah, shit the fan.
Shit the fan. Yeah.
That sounds painful.
Dead or hit the fan.
Mhm.
Shit the fan.
Yes.
Fine.
I like this.
So luckily I've never been in that situation, but I don't know that I'd leave the stage. I don't know. We also used
There's
to have
a special breed.
I'm a special. I'm horrible. But do you do the faces? Do you do the faces? Can you control your faces if somebody is like terrible and you're on stage? You're like,
yes, but it's because wedding band.
That is true. Yes.
I have a whole
Yeah.
other history of
yeah.
and karaoke hosting.
Yes.
That will teach you to fix your face real fucking fast.
pull-
You
Poker
can,
face,
so you
yeah,
hosted
and
karaoke
that.
as well. Where did you host?
I did. I hosted at Patrick J's in Berkeley and O'Mara's in Berkeley and and what was that place called in what? Joe Bar in Hazel Park, and I feel like there were more. I also did like private gigs too for a company, so
Yes.
Oh,
I
nice.
hosted for years. Not super long, maybe 3 or 4 years, but it was more than once a week.
Yes.
That's enough.
Yes.
That's enough.
And so you
for-
understand that's another thing we have in common. So you understand exactly what I mean of like there's certain I love that karaoke has its own this is I know because I talked to you about karaoke and you're like I hate karaoke and that's generally how you are. And I'm
Also
like
hate karaoke.
but I love karaoke and there's multiple reasons. One, it holds a warm spot in my heart because it's where I learned to sing. So for me, it was like, okay, karaoke was like the first stages I took. And yes, and what I also love about karaoke is there's this whole culture. Oh, Augies. I used to shoot darts out of Augies forever. Anyway.
Really? I
oh,
trained
God.
there.
Yes. I used to shoot. Augies was my home bar. Oh my God. These are such inside conversations. But yes, I used to shoot darts out of there. Anyway, but yeah, I love the weird karaoke culture because it's such a weird little subset
It is,
of
yeah.
music, and you start to kind of get stereotypes of weird karaoke people, and I love that. I love karaoke, and it's the silliest thing because like, but then there's the most annoying person at karaoke for me, and we'll see if this is the same for you because I'm going to ask you. So
Yeah.
so keep the question: who's the most annoying person? The most annoying person for me at karaoke is the fucking tryhard. And so it's the person that comes in and
The
it's
oversinger.
it's the oversingers that there's things like that, but you can always tell when a woman walks in and kind of marches right to you at the table or like marches right up and she puts in one of the following: Black Velvet, Tennessee Whiskey, the fucking Lady Gaga, You and I think is the name of that. Lady Gaga, You and I, anything that's one of those, and I'm like, okay, this girl is gonna be aggressively mediocre. Like she's gonna be like, she's not gonna be great, but she thinks she's great, so she's gonna get up there and just belt and just be a fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
That person is the person that kills me because it's like then they're so used to because normally they'll have a group of lackeys with them, whether it's people that are trying to get with them or just whatever, their friends are always just like, oh my God, you did that so well. And so I'm just like, oh, that is the most annoying person for me. And they are the person, every
I
karaoke
feel
bar,
attacked.
every
I'm just
karaoke bar has
it's like,
one.
ugh.
No, but it's like if you're not okay, there's an attitude though. It's not just the person that sings those songs. I'm sorry, Jen. It's not the person that sings those songs. It's the attitude of the person that sings those songs.
And that is
Because
not
you
Jen.
know.
That is not
No.
Jen at all.
I doubt it.
It is,
I doubt
I
it.
promise. We used
But
to
you've
host
met that
karaoke
person.
together.
You've met that
Yeah.
person that I'm talking about, right? Of the ultra tryhard though. Like, oh.
So
God.
what is your
most hated
or
karaoke
hated
person?
karaoke person?
My most hated karaoke person is the person who sings like this and you can barely I'm gonna turn my mic up. She sings like this, but I can't hear myself, but I'm still singing. I still can't hear myself. Bitch, it's gonna be feedback in a second. Shut the fuck up. But I can't hear myself. Are you singing? I don't know.
Yes.
I have no idea. Are you even singing? Are you whispering? What's happening? Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God. Bitch, I'm
Oh,
not
and
trying to sing
that
more.
person is always the person too that will like scream one part. So you have their mic up super loud, and then there'll be one part, and they're like, "Ah!" You're like, "Oh my God!" Run back to the chorus.
Or they'll start
Yes.
talking to their friends at normal voice level,
Yes,
but
yes.
they sing like this, and so you can't actually turn their mic up.
Yes.
Oh my
That's the
god.
thing. I don't think I've.
Anyone ever get the guy that turns every song into death metal? Yes, I love that guy.
Honestly,
Send that
I
guy
love,
my- no,
I love that
love
guy too. I love that
Yeah.
guy.
I love that guy because that guy's normally drunk as fuck. That guy's normally working the crowd. That guy normally is he's my favorite person because my favorite karaoke person is the person that is terrible but just gives it all of their heart and puts the show into it. I don't care that they're terrible because they make up for it with their personality. And not okay, there is a difference because there's this is so annoying, this conversation. This is karaoke inside baseball. But there's a person that can do that and cross the douche line. There's like a douche line. And the guy that's crossing the douche line is the guy that does like the Bad Touch by the Bloodhound Gang or Lap Dance is Always Better. Like they're doing douchey songs and are doing that. But it's the guy that's not the douche. It's a guy that's just 100% invested in the song that he's doing terribly. And I love that guy. That
So
guy.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to add to the douchery, which is the
Yes.
guy that thinks it's cool to take the mic by the wire and fucking swing it around.
Oh,
That exists. In
that guy gets
karaoke?
kicked out of the bar for me.
Yeah, that
because
guy
I-
got kicked out of the bar.
Yeah, that guy gets kicked out of the bar because it's
Yeah.
when I did it. This is so douchey. I am a karaoke douche, so I admit that. But when I was hosting shows, I literally built a collapsible stage.
Yeah.
And I brought lights and I brought auto tune, which is the other thing, or tuning.
Ooh.
Because for me, I thought I know what people want out of karaoke, which is to feel like a superstar. And so
Yeah.
for me, it was like the more I could do that for them, the better off it would be. But anybody fucking with my equipment, anybody putting a beer on the speaker, anybody doing any of that is
Or you
out.
would be anal.
No, they get one shot. And I'm like, and I will be very aggressive about it. Get your
Yeah.
fucking beer off my equipment.
I
And then
I was the same way. And luckily the person I worked for is just like me in that way. Don't fuck with me.
Yes.
Don't fuck with this equipment. Like,
Yeah.
and luckily all the bar owners I worked with were also very much protective of me and my equipment. And,
Yeah.
and I was very, very lucky in that way, honestly.
I understand what you're saying, Troublesome. What Troublesome is saying, like sometimes that person whisper singing may have gone through so much to get the courage to get up there. There's a difference in attitude between the person that's scared and drunk a little and has the courage to do it versus the person that's consistently doing it. And I think what happens at a karaoke show is there's regulars at every place you go to. And so you kind of get the type. There's a difference between somebody that's new, and that's always the person that I enjoyed putting the spotlight on. Is like when I could tell their friends are like, "Oh my god, you got to sing this," because they've always got the friends. "Oh, you should sing. You're great," and you can see it developing as the karaoke host. But it's a different type of person who's the person that's just constantly treating you like shit is the KJ and
Yeah.
singing quietly. That's the difference I think between that.
Yeah, when they're
person.
screaming at you to turn them up, when they're, they're
then you
literally not. Like, listen, you
Yes.
gotta have some sort of balance here, you know?
Yes,
Get
yes.
some pipes, dude.
So with Twitch, then you approach that. I can appreciate that, and that the fact that you did the gigs and that kind of thing. And it's amazing that you've kind of carved your own thing, and it's amazing even more that people have bought into what you're doing. So have you done? I haven't seen this on your stream. Is doing more songwriting or production or that kind of thing is it a part of your stream already, or is that something that may become part of your stream? Are you going to see yourself moving into those areas of music, or is it pretty much always just going to be a show for you, and that's how you're going to focus on approaching it?
So, yes to all that.
Yes. Both,
I do start words. I do want to start doing more songwriting on stream. I actually did used to do songwriting on stream on the Elsie Binx channel. So for a long time, we streamed on the Elsie Binx channel 4 nights a week. And I would
nice.
stream almost like we would do production on Mondays, sometimes production on Wednesdays, and then we would have music performance Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Nice.
And so I cut vocals live very often, and I also wrote an entire song along with chat with a demo from the guys.
Oh, that's
yeah.
amazing.
So like I adored doing that. There are people in chat here who literally contributed to that song. Like
That's so cool.
I loved that. And then I have pretty recently, I think maybe toward the beginning of the year, I did cut vocals live on that channel as well for our upcoming music. And so they have a hand in me going, I think I want to change this word, or I think I want to change this line, the melody.
Cool.
And I love doing that. And again, it's a mind game, right? Because my numbers on my channel aren't going to withstand that kind of fuckery right
No,
now.
Yeah.
they never will. The production streams never. The production streams are a very specific, loyal part of the community that wants them,
Yeah.
and that's a quarter of most people don't care to see how the sausage is
everybody
made.
who doesn't bank on just production as their main content
Yeah,
always has low numbers when they do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Always.
And
It's very-
and so that's why I say the answer is yes. I
Yes.
want to do more of that. I kind of have to wait a little bit longer
Yeah.
to do it
Yes.
on my channel. But if I continue doing it, it's going to be on Elsie Binx's channel because
Yeah.
there's actually
Right.
no loss there. You know, like
Right.
we only stream on there once a week. Sometimes, well, right now we only stream on it once or twice a week. We do some band chats. But like once the band is streaming on there regularly, we might have a little bit more visibility, you know?
Yes,
So
yes.
there's going to be a lot going on in the next 2 months or so that's really in flux for that channel. So
Yeah.
I can use that channel or Jen or Johnny or any of us if they want to
Right.
cut parts of their anything they have to do, or if we want to get on screen and write a song together, you know, there's going to be some latency, but even so, just bouncing ideas back and forth. That's the
Yeah, that's
numbers on
awesome.
that channel aren't going to be threatened too much, whereas
Yeah.
the
Of course.
numbers on my channel are going to be threatened a little bit more. I'm probably not going to do that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
Um,
makes sense. That makes
yeah.
sense.
But I do want to do all of the things.
All of the things.
And I do still want to do endo chats even when it's not March, because I always have endometriosis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And I found a couple people through that Twitter search I was telling you about when I was really digging into finding endo streamers. I found a non-binary person who the timing was totally off because they were going into surgery for endometriosis.
Oh,
Like
okay.
right at the same time as when I was doing the chat and all the things, so they couldn't take part in it. But I planned to reach out to them because they were like, next time you do something like this, I'm in, I'm doing it. And so I want to kind of, I've been thinking more and more about that and like making it a part of my Pride Month because that
Yes.
works in both ways. And again, I have endo year round, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
relevant. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that person also has endo year round. So
Yeah.
it's kind of an interesting opportunity. And I might reach out to a couple other people regarding that and really try to get some chat streams in there because those actually
Yeah.
do pretty well. Those aren't like songwriting or production. My chat
No,
streams
it's
Yeah.
different.
typically,
Yeah.
my chat streams typically have very, very similar numbers to my regular performance streams. So
Yeah.
those don't scare me as much, but I
Yeah.
will be doing more and more of those.
Sure.
And then you have my monthly Lady Gaga streams, which are probably
Yes.
one of my favorite things to ever accidentally happen. Again, it's an identity of my channel now, and it happened
Yeah.
just accidentally, you know?
It's
So
so
there's this
interesting.
thought.
So do you think and that's why I'm saying it's so interesting because like there's memes that come up that wouldn't come up on stage the same way. Do you think you will at some point implement those memes into your performances on stage?
Oh man, that's a great question. I've not been asked that question. You know, I think that the band has a different obviously the band is a different identity than
Yeah,
me.
Sure.
And I think once we write more air horns,
I agree.
I think once we're streaming as a band, we have a little bit of work to do as a band all over again.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen each other regularly. We saw each other, 5 times a week for a
Yeah.
couple years, you know,
Yes.
and now we haven't seen each other since November. So
Yeah.
it's like we have to kind of relearn what each other's identities are as a whole.
Yeah.
So that's the long way of saying, I think once the Elsie Binx channel has more of a clear identity and air horns, I think that those things will kind of eventually seep into
Yeah.
real life because
Yeah.
honestly, like I'm bored of just playing song to song. Half of it,
Yeah.
like I don't want to do that anymore. I love the fuckery. I love the
Right?
sound effects and I love the air horns and
Yeah.
just I like pretending to be Britney Spears out of nowhere because somebody
Yes.
hit me points. You know, like I think the fuckery is so important
Yes.
for me.
Yeah.
Somebody quote that. The fuckery is so important for me.
Yeah.
No, it's the
that
same for
I-
us. It's the same
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
because I feel I feel the same because I've since I've done Twitch, I've talked more and I've done a lot of comedy, which I didn't do before. Like I did a joke or something, but it was more like, songs song plus song plus song.
Yes.
And maybe explaining the song or something, or explaining the story behind it, but it was never like fuckery like it is on Twitch, because on Twitch you have to learn how to talk. And this is
Yeah, you
something
do.
that some musicians struggle with.
Oh, for sure.
That stream.
For sure.
Who have, who don't know how to just chat, basically.
Yeah.
Especially between songs, because it gets awkward because, you're talking to Chad and Chad is asking you questions.
And I found that there are very few people, there are a few that have been able to be successful without the chatting or relationship, where they have just a little, but not many. Not many who are skilled or talented enough to just exist in that same context without the connection.
And that's not even the thing. You can have a crazy production and crazy songs and crazy awesome stuff, but people want to connect to you. That's why they watch Twitch instead of watching a video of you.
Yeah.
On YouTube or something. And people want to connect. So yeah, I think Twitch, any musician that did Twitch, especially in the times where they couldn't do gigs, now with the pandemic, I think when they go back to gigging, I think there's a lot of Twitch musicians who performed on Twitch for a while who will implement the whole fuckery.
Yeah, we've talked about that because we obviously were talking about planning gigs and maybe even planning a tour. And it's the same thing, because for me, it's part of my identity as a performer now. And I know that you and I feel the same way of having that.
I don't know how to go back.
Yeah.
I
don't
like
want
Twitch
to.
is a great way to learn or for a musician or a band to learn a different, more engaging way with the audience that if we talk about competitors or competitive bands, you are
how Pink Floyd had the giant inflatable pigs? I think that we need a giant inflatable blowjob giraffe.
And a giant inflatable banana because of the hot tub stream.
Yeah, so we'll have a banana. We'll have the drgiraffe can deep throat the banana. Look
There
at
it
that. Yes.
Oh my god.
We got it right there. That's what we need. So I have one more question for you, because we've kept you so long, and we can't do the overtime. So overtime.
You have one more question, and I have my favorite.
Then you ask
question.
yours.
Yeah.
Ask your inflatable toilet.
You probably people have asked you this a ton, but how do you compare live gigging to Twitch performances?
How do I compare them?
Yeah, how do you compare how the feeling, how chat reacts versus how the audience reacts, and how just the feeling of a performance on Twitch versus the feeling of
Twitch is real talk with fake smiles. I don't know, my smiles are always genuine, and I know yours are. We're just idiots that we literally the way we are on stream is only a slightly amplified version of how dumb we are in real life. We literally were
Aaron yesterday probably.
We were literally she saw that. And
wow.
And 30 minutes before the stream, we were wrestling. That's how she tore my shirt. We were just throwing each other around.
Aaron saw that. She was
so it's just no, we're really weird. This is just what we're like. Yeah.
But yes, the question:
how
do you compare the two types of performances?
And so for me, it was really hard. And you guys talked about this earlier. I don't even think I was on screen yet. I think I was just listening about how just performing to a screen with silence is draining as fuck. And once I started implementing the fuckery, the sound effects, the applause, the air horns, that was the key for me to feeling less alone. And I'm not even literally alone. I have a co-host. She's sitting next to me right now. She's making sure that
Where is she? Show us to her.
Oh,
show her to us.
You have to reach further in.
Oh, you have to. That's just a hand. That's not a person.
It's a hand. They have to be cropped on screen. That's why.
Yes.
And that's my co-host Trish. I literally when new people come into the stream, it's hey, if you hear anybody talking, it's because my partner in life, my partner in crime, she's Vladimir.
Nice.
Yeah, and she kind of fell into it. Yeah, she's also the voice in the sky. She kind of just fell into this role because she is not somebody who ever wants to be on camera. But we would be streaming, and she was my moderator in the beginning, and she would be talking to me off microphone, and I was like, what? And nobody could hear her, and I was like, fuck it, you're getting a microphone.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so she's literally my co-host, and so that wasn't the case in the beginning, right? So now she has a microphone, so now I have a co-host, and we bounce back and forth, and if I'm not talking, sometimes she'll respond in the chat because people just know Trish is here. Like
Yeah.
something's wrong if Trish isn't here, basically.
Right.
And so she's my co-host, and it, you know, it's a whole different thing. And I'm sure people like you guys know it's a whole different thing to have a co-host.
Yeah.
For sure.
The energy is so different because you guys both stream separately too.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
like the energy is so different. And now it's like if she weren't here, it's like say she's really sick and I'm going to stream anyway, I'm going to be like, I'm alone today, guys.
We actually have that issue.
Yeah,
That's something we've talked about with each other.
Experienced that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go on stream, and I'm like, what am I going to do today? Oh, I'm going to do just chatting, then maybe a set of music, and then a game or something. I will feel very alone sometimes. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm going to end the stream after only 2 hours. When normally I stream like 5 hours or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to just end it because I'm just bored of myself. You know what I mean?
I can totally see that. And like,
Yeah.
if it weren't for this amazing human who is my partner and who wanted to kind of jump in and be a part of it, like
Yeah.
if that person weren't my partner and they were just like, fuck this, I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I think I would have added applause and sound alerts and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, just even adding those things makes you feel less alone because it's something audible. When people hit that applause, as somebody who's been in the public eye for so long, I need that. I need to know how many people in the room there are, and I need to know that they're clapping for me.
Yeah.
That's just me. I live for the applause. Like that's me.
Exactly.
And I say it all the time. It's like I feed off the energy. So when people are like that cozy streamer and there's no alerts and they're just literally them and their screen, I'm like, this is not me. This can't be me. I can't feed off of it. So that's the only I needed to make them the same to compare them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and thank you, Code Warrior. Thank you so much for that gift, Creative Minds.
I have another
Yes,
question
they do
that just goes. Can I ask this before you ask your last question? So how do you deal with because we're talking about you and Trish, and how do you guys together when one of you doesn't feel streaming and you have a stream scheduled anyways? How do you deal with that?
This is Sarah criticizing me.
No, that's
just kidding. I'm teasing.
Getting advice from other people.
I'm teasing.
Well, I was going to say, here's the thing is that, my side of this is as a performer, I just turn off that's true. She literally just turns off the Fresh Prince redemption because that's the most on-screen time that you have. So we'll just disable it and people don't say anything. They'll probably notice at some point, but they don't ask why, But less literally, and again, it goes back, I feel like a broken record. When you come from wedding band for 10 years, weddings don't cancel.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been on stage with the flu. I mean, I've been on stage in all sorts of inappropriate, like I shouldn't have been on stage, but here we are.
Same.
So Code Warrior, thank you again so much for that gift sub to Makes It Fit. Sorry, I have to jump in with those. Thank you so much, Code Warrior.
So like I have to be literally dying for me to not stream. And so the only, I think I didn't cancel a stream until I got dose 2 of Pfizer. And that was why I canceled 2 streams.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the only reason. Have I canceled streams before?
Totally understand that. Yeah.
Like in a whole year, I don't know that I canceled any streams because it's like it goes against everything in my brain to cancel. And so Trish and I have had this conversation. It gets emotional sometimes because she's not a performer. Yeah. She was in band and shit, and she loves music. But at the same time, she's not a performer. So it's some days it's like if you're not okay. And also I should mention she has a chronic illness as well. So so it's not just like a mental thing. It's also sometimes a physical thing. And she's an artist. She just started. Yeah. She is an artist, not a performer, and there's a difference. And it's that's so deep.
That makes a lot of sense.
And so so physically sometimes sitting up here in this dark room for 5 hours on a mic when your body's not okay, or sometimes mentally, I'm a fake it till you make it for me because that's the performer in me.
Right.
But she's not a performer. And I feel so weird because she's literally sitting right here and she's just like, yep.
Yeah, of course. Please link her art in chat. No problem. Please.
And so it's hard. I will say that because she didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of just fell into it.
That's why I'm asking, because it's always different for one person alone to be like, okay, I'm performing now, than when you have like, you know, a different energy or like a second energy basically, or like the other person isn't really wanting to, or, you know, doesn't feel like it or something. And
And
yeah.
it's never a I don't want to do this. It's
Yeah,
always
it's
very
like
much, I do want to do
something.
this,
Yeah.
but it's either physically I'm not okay, not me, but
Yeah.
Trish. She's not okay physically, or it's mentally, or I didn't sleep very well last
Exactly,
night
yeah.
because of the physicality of
Yeah.
the chronic illness she has. And so it's just sometimes she'll be really quiet and people will go, "Is Trish there?" And she'll turn on the mic and be like, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm just quiet today."
Yeah. That makes sense, yeah.
They just need to know she's sitting here. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's you know, it's hard. It's not easy. I wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend it to anybody. And it's not because you don't do a good job pointing at her right here. It's just
Yeah.
it's hard when I come from a do not cancel.
Yeah, of course.
I understand that 100% because my first album I recorded after a very rough night the night before and basically pumped with painkillers. And then another album that I recorded, I had a bone infection in my upper jaw. So I literally couldn't play. And my dentist was like, "Sarah, stop playing the saxophone. Like, you're making it worse. We're going to have to go to surgery if you continue." And obviously studio times are studio times. You can't just cancel just because the saxophonist is like, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and I did cancel a tour to Hungary because I was starting to have a blood infection and I couldn't stand. So
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. That is when I cancel.
yeah, exactly. That's when you cancel because you know you're gonna die if you do it. Like
Right.
literally, you're gonna die if you do it. So that's that's like the only thing I think that I canceled. Is like legit when you're like, okay, if I do this, I'm gonna die.
And it's exactly that, caveman. It's the show must go on. There's no better way of putting it. Is the show must go on. I mean, unless you literally can't do the thing you're doing for your show, the show must go on.
Yep.
Right. So my last question, which is kind of related to these things, and also before I even get to that, I want to definitely extend an invite to Jen. Jen, please reach out to me if you're interested in being on the show. Obviously, we'd love to have you guys too. So
I want to
please
watch
reach out
that
to me.
show. Yes, please, Jen.
So
yes.
please do. Because obviously I didn't realize, having watched the stream and watching you, that conversation didn't come up during the streams I watched. So yes, please reach out to me if you're interested. You can find that at musicexposed.show. So just shoot me an email there or talk to you guys there. Yes, please. If you're a music streamer and this is something you're interested in, and you do original music, which, as I said, is more of the focus this year for us, is we are going to be focusing more on original music. Doesn't mean that we will have no cover streamers, or it doesn't mean that. It just means I want to focus more on what we're both passionate about.
At least
some original music on their stream.
Because like I also do covers.
Yes. Yeah, that's why you're barely allowed on this show.
Oh, true. I do Tennessee whiskey.
Yes, you do.
I should be
Could you add Black Velvet to your set as well? And some Melissa Etheridge as well. All those, like, could you just do play all the hits?
I do Hallelujah and Creep and Zombie too.
Yes, my favorite songs in the whole wide world. You do them.
I won't do it.
Oh, exclamation mark Zombeep in the chat for no one who hangs out here. If you're not familiar with my stream, I do a hybrid cover of Zombie and Creep put together. So if you're interested in that and you're here for a music stream, I can't because I don't have my music set up in Mexico. So when I get back from Mexico, but that's true. She did offer to do Creep for $20,000. Well, yeah, I guess I'm cheap then because I do Zombeep for $69. So, but what I wanted to ask you is, obviously one thing, even from the time we've started talking, I feel like your stream has really grown quickly, and you've started to really grow kind of in stature in the Twitch music community. And so I wanted to ask you, I know a lot of people that watch this show are also musicians or music streamers. And as we said, if you haven't reached out to me yet, please do. There's a lot of you we'll be reaching out to for the show. But what is some advice that you would give someone that is either coming new to the game, or they're just starting up their stream and they're starting to work on things? What's some advice that you would give them, or that you think they need to know about streaming on Twitch music?
Get an Ethernet cable.
Yes.
And I'm dead serious. Everybody says, I'm fine. My Wi-Fi is great here. No, get a fucking Ethernet cable. It's going to save you a lot of heartache.
Yes.
dead
Yeah.
ass serious because I feel like every single person who has streamed on Twitch had that. Like, no, my Wi-Fi's fine, and you really don't get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get an Ethernet cable. That's the first one.
Ethernet cable.
Okay. But then secondly, and this is something I wish I could have done, and it's because we hit the ground running as a band that I literally couldn't have done at this. But if I could go back and do it all again, I would have been on Twitch already, finding communities that I fit in with and making friends and legitimately like being a part of Discord communities. And because I didn't even know what the fuck Discord was before I got on Twitch.
Right.
And now Discord's like my go-to. I don't even want to fuck with anything other than Twitter or Discord, and Instagram is do I have to?
Yeah,
that's actually the same for me, and I think it's the same for you too.
And Facebook's not even in the sentence. Like
No.
So like for me, it's all right. Yes, and so I just love these things for my community, and unfortunately, as somebody who hit the ground running, it's like now I have to be so choosy about which communities I put time and effort into because you have your own. So I just wish that, and it turned into a regret situation, but if you're thinking about streaming on Twitch, anybody in the chat or anybody listening, really go out of your way to find like-minded communities. That's because once you start your own community, you don't have time anymore.
That is exactly, that's huge.
You don't have time to, you can go be in the streams and lurk and do whatever and chat, but at the end of the day, there's too much going on in your own community.
Right.
And it's the best, that's the best problem to have, right? Like, sorry, my community talks so much that I can't be in anybody else's. Like, I am so happy that we have started building a safe space in the year that I didn't even have a Discord in the beginning because I was like, I don't know how to use this.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks
so much for that follow, little chopped potato.
That's Chewy.
Chewy.
Hi, Chewy. And so that's probably one of the biggest things, other than knowing technology and like the literal parts that are almost more stressful sometimes than the performance. When your tech stuff isn't working, you can't perform well.
I went through an entire year of that, so I can understand exactly what you're saying. Every stream I hit start stream, I was like, this stream might crash today.
Yeah.
So I know exactly how horrible that is. But it was the same for me. I hit the ground running. It was the same. I didn't really start streaming with any of this stuff in mind, and it just grows and grows and grows. And you're like, oh my God, now I'm maxing out my computer, or this thing is happening, or that thing is happening. It's insane the amount of stress.
No, that's exactly it, is that nobody can prepare you for the amount of technological shit storms that are going to happen. And I wish I'd been a little bit more prepared for that. And I kind of knew I didn't have the technology, so I was keeping everything real low key. I couldn't have basically any overlays. It would barely run a webcam and the song list. Like it was bare minimum, dude. And the emote wall would be fucking crackling.
Yes.
Like, and so you just learn that you need a fucking Alienware to do your shit no matter what.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you need to go buy a gaming computer to basically do anything on Twitch. And it gets wild really quickly. And so that's why I say first things first is if you have a computer that can't have an Ethernet cable, you don't have the right computer.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a port for it. But yeah, just the community thing. I genuinely wish I had more time in the day to go be a part of communities that I genuinely want to be a part of.
Same.
So,
I think all of us have that.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about streaming, really, really concentrate on and finding those like-minded people, because number one, they might follow you to your channel, but number two, you're just going to build really good friendships. And it's been, I've loved accidentally finding best friends on Twitch.
6 foot tall bravado has my mindset. And if it doesn't exist, which for my community it basically doesn't, there's still like 4 of us, and it's the same 4 of us that have been doing the same thing. No, I'm talking about the specific community of people that brought me to Twitch.
Yeah.
Which is the specific community of people that essentially only do originals with the big production setups and that kind of thing. There's still like 5 of us.
It's like J. Dublé.
J. Dublé, 4 After Ever, Other Glow. And Wolf Dog is joining that, Lunar Tides. So like it's a little bit bigger.
Too. I feel
Fantastic Plastics is a different animal.
they're
They're a different animal, and don't get me wrong, that's not an insult against them. They're just a different animal, and they are more. They're close to half covers because they play a lot of deep.
They do.
They play a lot of
Oh,
covers.
true. They do covers.
And when I came in, it was like fuck covers. I was like literally became a meme in my literal. Well, Scene of Action is the torchbearer for that genre.
He's like the king of the
of that.
of all.
Yes. Yes, Scene of Action is that guy. He's the torchbearer for that did it.
I remember watching the Scene of Action for the first time, and I was like, "This is what I want to do."
Yes.
And
I watched Scene of Action, and I had the exact opposite reaction. I'm like, I want to quit.
No, I got like green screens, 100 million webcams, and then I ran into the problem that I never even heard about before is that you can max out a motherboard's USB ports. Like it's insane. Like you I didn't know that was a thing. And sometimes you can add more PCIe's, but then it doesn't
matter.
It doesn't matter if you only have a limited amount.
So I'm going to stop you because this has now been the longest Music Exposed in history. And we've kept Erin so long. Thank you so much for staying, because normally we have a hard limit of a half an hour late, and we've gone so long.
Yeah.
But you were such an amazing guest, first of all. And thank you again for, I know you don't care, but we care. We're actually walking through Mexico City. Sarah and I have the lamest lives ever sometimes, because we're like walking through Mexico City talking about work stuff, and we're like, man, we both care so much about being professional. And we were talking about that. We're like, man, it's so important. Thank you so much, Smack, for that follow. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm also from Detroit, born and raised. So, but yes, we're walking through the street talking about Music Exposed, and we're like, man, it just sucks so much that this happened for this. But thank you again so much for being so patient with us and working with us. As I mentioned, if you guys don't, we've pasted the link throughout the chat, !guest, North Detroit. There is no South Detroit, you bastards. Anyway, South Detroit is Canada. So
it's Toledo also. Maybe sometimes Toledo.
We don't count Ohio as anything. If you're from Michigan, Ohio is Mexico. So, so we don't talk about that state, except for when We Speak English Good is here. So South Detroit is Canada. We already know this. We've got and our favorite, Never Muse can attest. We've got our thumb up your ass, Canada, which is that I still want to make shirts that say that with the Michigan hand on it. That we've got our thumb up Canada's ass. But anyway, so. Thank you so much for being such an amazing guest. As I said, Jen, please reach out to us, or anybody. If you're a music streamer that does original music, we've intentionally left it so our calendar would be more open in the coming weeks, because we were booked out for months and months before, and now we're trying to. It was
very stressful.
It was very stressful for us, because people would be like, "Oh, when can we be on the show?" And we're like, "A year from now." So we've been we've been a little bit more reserved with that. Our next guest coming up is Leah Menaker, for those of you that don't know her, another amazing original streamer. We have so many people that we want to get on. If you have a suggestion, I would also like to learn, I'm going to ask Erin this offline, because your chat uses this term of fanagement, and that's something I've never figured out. You and I both need to figure out, like, how do we figure that out? You guys are so, how do you get fanagement?
Because my people do memes for me and stuff, but they don't even post things on Reddit or something. Like you guys need to post more on Reddit.
Yes.
You lazy pig.
Yeah. All right. Well, Erin, thank you for being such a great guest for our last show. Since Sarah will get
I'm
canceled.
not canceled. Erin, where can we find you, and when is your next stream?
Yes.
Do you have any
plug something? Where do people go find your music and all that good stuff?
So my music can be found on elsiebinx.com, or you can go on, Spotify or Apple or Pandora or any of the places. We are on every single
platform. Are you on Napster? This is important.
Does Napster exist?
Yes, it does.
It does.
I mean, okay, real question, because I don't know. I use CD Baby, and I just do all the things.
You're probably on Napster then. You're probably on Napster.
All right. Important. That's why I'm like, I don't know. And that's another thing, Ken, that I want to talk to you offline about distro versus CD
Sure,
Baby.
Happy to talk about that. There's pros and cons to both. Yes.
Yeah. We've been with CD Baby the whole time, so we'll
Understandable.
So yeah, my music is on elsiebinx.com. I always say Elsie like the cow, Binx like the cat. If you're cool, you know the references.
Yes.
And so you can find that on elsiebinx.com. And my next stream. Oh, thank you, Damon Archie. So he is fanagement. That is the person you're talking about, is Damonarchy. Yes. when he found my channel, I think that he was just like, wow, they have a lot of potential. He found the band channel, he found my channel, and all the rest of us in the band who stream, and he immediately saw the potential, and that is kind of how he ended up Fanagement in a way.
That's
because
awesome.
he's
Yeah,
the person
you are the guy that
you.
emailed me, because that
Yes.
was, I remember talking to Sarah about it afterwards, and I'm like, we'd had some contact and stuff from people before, but I literally got basically like a press kit for you, and I'm like, wow, we're being contacted by some band's management. We've made music exposed as
Yeah.
made it. I love
And
that.
he's kind of fallen into this fanagement, right? Like, I don't even know what that word is, but it literally describes him to a T, because I didn't know how to use Discord. Trish knew how to use Discord, and I just, like, without even asking, I think I made Damon Arkey an admin in Discord just because I was like, he knows what he's doing, and I trust this person. And he's an editor on the channel, so he could make the clips for you, or the highlights to send to you guys. That's like the whole reason that happened.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that. And as I said, for anybody, if you know other artists, as I said, we definitely have made an effort to leave the schedule more open this year so we can try to get people in. And one thing that we also try to do a lot on the show, which I know is a pain in the ass, but we do it, is like, we try to help people, like if they have releases coming up, or like we would shuffle things around to try to make it like, again, that's why we wanted to have you during March, and unfortunately we had all sorts of craziness with travel then too. So yeah, I appreciate that so much. And please, as we posted all, there's a ton of links in the room. Please go post those. Those will also be posted with the replay once we have that available. So they'll be with this episode for the rest of time, as well as the bulletin board links and all of that. The rest of time.
Until the end.
It is until I will have Music Exposed show up until the end of time. So when the volcano that kills us all erupts in Yellowstone, when the super volcano erupts and we all die,
The sun that will
remember, this is an important
eat us
motto
up.
of Music Exposed, that you're all going to die. These are my words of that we talk about this all the time on Music Exposed, because it's important to remember that we're all going to die. And so if you don't follow EBX Aaron, you're going to regret it. And when the moments before you die, you'll just be like, man, I could have listened to some cool music.
Man, I never
And I never did. I never
And then
did.
you're gonna die disappointed,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I agree. El resto del tiempo. But please give her a follow. Please give her some love. Thanks for being such
Thank
an
you for
amazing
being
guest.
here, and thank you for having
Thank you.
patience with us.
And yes, thank you for being
spasmed out
so patient.
completely.
Yes. And we're just gonna, rather than doing what we would normally do, we're just gonna wrap it here, because we'd have camera screwing around and all that stuff to do. If you like Music Exposed is every other Saturday here on this channel. Other than the next one, because of the travel in Mexico, we're traveling, so it'll be another extra week outside of that. So the next episode is on June 19th with Leah Menaker, and then we also have some other guests scheduled that we haven't announced yet. We'll be announcing those very soon. And as I said, Jen, please get in touch with me. If you like this, make sure you check that out. Also, check out twitch.tv/Sarah Jazz for music, memes, comedy.
No music.
Don't follow her.
Don't follow me. I just literally sit in the toilet.
She plays guitar, piano, and saxophone at the same time.
And I hum a little.
And then I'm also the Silence Noise. If you follow this channel, you'll catch the same.
You actually get music.
Yeah, you get music. You just might not like it. And
Yeah,
if you don't like it, that's fine.
If you don't like it, you can just watch a giraffe give a pole a blowjob.
That's true.
Yeah.
You could watch Blowjob Giraffe, which is great. But thank you for being here for Music Exposed. We will raid and troll music. You'll get that as well. Thank you again so much for being here.
Thank you, Aaron.
And we're going to set up the raid, and we'll catch you next time on Music
Awesome.
Exposed.
Thank you for having me.